Big motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Please rise to the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just please stand one moment for a moment of silence for the lives lost and the folks that are sick from COVID-19.
And God bless John McGurk
Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
and Joe Ambrose.
Yes.
Yeah, you're right. Thank you very much. Before we get started, I know some of the board members here want to thank the public for their outpouring of support for our budget and election, and for doing it different than we've ever done it before. And the turnout was fantastic, which was great. Does anybody want to say anything?
Yeah, I would just like to say to the whole public, and not only in our district, but all the South Fork, great support. And I guess the best way I could say it is that they were smart enough to elect Secretary again and nice enough to elect me.
John, I got to tell you, I'm grateful to have the opportunity to serve with the legend, John Ryan, again. Thank you to everybody.
And one other thing before we move on, thank you, Adam, and the staff at the high school for the graduation.
Yeah.
If-
Yeah.
If you didn't get to see it, it's on LTV. I know they're gonna, I'm sure they'll play it again. It was live, I believe. I was there. It was longer than usual. Because there was, circumstances we could not control, but he did a fantastic job. The kids did a fantastic job. It was well organized. By the time you pulled into the parking lot, to the time you left the parking lot, there was as many people as were there. And there were a lot. It was the event of the moment, I would say. So it was very well done.
The families and the kids really enjoyed it.
Appreciate it. And
Yeah.
just so you know, this is Adam's first session and Keith's first session. And
Yes.
the reason Adam actually got bumped up was because we can't tolerate those long graduations. So, thank you, Adam.
They're over.
You did a job,
Yeah.
but congratulations. Hopefully, first meeting for Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and Keith, congratulations for Assistant Superintendent for Business.
Wonderful.
So I think Adam's more of a rookie than Keith is. Keith is
All right. So I'm going to open the meeting with public comment for agenda items only. Matt, do we have anybody on for calls? Okay, so we'll get the second shot, the second go around. Can I have a motion to accept the consent agenda?
Like when you have the reorganization.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought my
Yeah, you get-
schedule there.
yeah.
My mistake. Okay.
So you can start
So
with you.
let's start with the administration oath of office.
Correct.
And I'll turn it over to.
Actually, John is the one who's going to be swearing in, everybody as we move along. So John, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
I didn't see you there, John.
I'm ready, John.
Now I can see you.
Nice to see you all.
Good to see you, John.
Do I need to stand up, or how do I do this?
I was going to say, if you stand up if you can and raise your right hand and repeat after me.
Should I go like this? Yeah.
That's just fine.
Superintendent first.
But actually, I thought Carrie had Rich first. We'll get to you very shortly, though, Jackie.
All right, I got it.
Rich, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, if you'd stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the Office of Superintendent of Schools
the Office of Superintendent of Schools
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, God.
And now, yes, now Jackie and John. If you would both kindly stand, raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
the office of Member of the Board of Education
the office of
the office of Member of the Board of Education
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I make a motion that we nominate J.P. Foster for president.
Third,
Okay,
Third.
as long as Christine is the vice, that's fine. 'Cause you guys are a tremendous help, truthfully. I'm here, but truthfully, you guys were all fantastic, and thank you. So, I've done this a million times, I remember doing it. So, can we do a motion?
A motion for a nomination.
Yeah,
Yes.
actually, what we need, guys, just to backtrack a little bit, just so that, or maybe we could just do a motion that we two encompasses.
Okay.
Do I make the motion to
Okay,
nominate him?
No, we gotta back up, John.
yeah.
We gotta back up.
So I just need a motion for just at number 2.
I make a motion. I'll second.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Right, what we really are doing is we're encompassing 2 and 3 together.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, does everybody want to do a roll call or raise your
Can I
hand?
also make a motion to do it together? Christina Sandy as vice president. I make that motion.
Okay,
And it was already on the table.
Yep.
The president of
We got it.
Yes.
Somebody second that? We gotta vote?
I second.
I just need it all in favor at this point.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
thank you guys for doing that again.
Yes, thank you for putting up with us. And
Okay, that's okay. We do it together. That's how I look
Yeah,
at it. Truthfully, we do it together. It's the only way to do it. You can't do it any other way. Okay, number 4, appointment of officers.
Mhm.
And do you read this or do I read it, Carrie?
You can read it, but I just need motions to open it up, and then once you read these, then John can swear us in.
Okay, so I'll read it, then there'll be a motion.
One motion first.
Or motion first.
You start the motion.
Okay, can I have a motion to appoint officers?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, and then we'll read from District Clerk, Kerry Stevens, and then down to number 5, which is administer the oath to Kerry Stevens. Have we just do all in favor for that?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now it's John will swear in myself, Carol, Dee, and Adam. You just wanna kind of
I'll throw my-
come this way a little bit.
Okay, but what about all of you? JP too?
No, we
No.
didn't.
No.
Well, we didn't do an oath there.
Actually, we did.
We have to swear in the president and the vice president.
We could, if you like, we can do it all at once.
Okay, you wanna do that?
Great.
Let's do it.
If you would all kindly stand and raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New York, and that I will faithfully discharge the office, the duties of the office of, and insert your respective offices, according to the best of my ability. Congratulations, everyone.
Okay.
Good for them.
Minutes just to get
We're
everybody
just gonna-
signed in.
We got a sign too? Jackie, you got a sign?
All right. Jackie's got a DocuSign somewhere.
Terry, do you need my signature?
Yes, sir.
I'll come in and sign it.
Perfect, perfect.
Yes.
Maybe this week.
Hey, ladies.
Find something so expected.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this chat has. Nice.
Oh, these lucky too.
Gotta keep-
That's your bonus.
Hey, I'll write that up.
Thank you very much. Okay, ladies.
John
you're free to
Fordham
go.
and St. John's, I don't know.
Thank you, guys.
Fordham, St. John's.
Okay, okay,
Bye,
get 'em off.
thank you.
And Binghamton.
John, you sign right here.
Okay. You get your pen.
All the details.
You think I could do a little smoother, like the 7 times that, but.
Well, it's also, well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I was saying, imagine doing this with all of us on Zoom.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
oh,
This is,
God.
I think this is kind of a nice
You know,
setup.
this is great. This is great.
Okay, JP and Christina. Thank you.
They didn't do what they were supposed to do.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Hello. It's all broke.
So then town is still giving. Is that town is still giving?
Thank you, guys.
Great. Excellent.
You ready, Terry?
Ready, ready.
Number 5, additional appointments. Student Association treasurers, resolved that the following individuals be hereby appointed as Student Association treasurers for the 2020-21 school year. Stephanie Otto, high school. Allison Rogoski, middle school student advisor, and Amy Navar, elementary school activities. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Well, actually, it's
All the way
My
down.
mistake,
all the way
yeah.
through, yeah.
Goes to
Down to
number
six.
6.
Yep.
Civil rights compliance officer, title 9, section 504, the 2020-21 school year, Cindy Allentuck, director of PPS, and Elizabeth Revez, director of ESL. Can I have a motion? Any discussion? Standard stuff. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Nice. Act together here. I'm catching it almost done, so I'm getting together. So number 6, designations. Number 1, the regular Board of Education monthly meetings, the start time of 6:30 PM as follows. It's will be on Tuesdays. Today is the first meeting of the year, July 7th, down to June 15th of next year. And then we go to item number 7, CD bidding options, Capital One Bank, First National Bank of Long Island, and Chase Bank. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Okay, I got a question. Anybody, any of the September ones or into a Jewish holiday?
No.
so.
No? And do we sometimes consider skipping one? I know we skipped one in February. Sometimes in December, we do it or not?
Sometimes we do.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
we won't do that now, but we might,
Yeah,
right?
the 15th, usually the second
Yeah.
one, John,
Right.
15th this year,
No.
we might.
So with all
I
that's
have
going
that on
on,
my question.
I recommend we leave it as is.
It's gonna be election day. Yes.
Students are off and so is staff. Actually, just the union did agree to, we're doing summer PD in exchange, so
Okay, so
just
I'm
in
coming
case
that day.
they don't have
Okay.
to come in.
Yeah, it's better with no one here.
So no
Yeah,
one's
that's
in
the
the
best way.
No one's in the building.
Definitely.
It's just
Do we have our meeting that night then, or not? We have.
I think we could. Would the polls be closed? Yes.
No.
Well, we should, I mean, I don't know that I want to be.
Well, we can meet in
It's
here.
online for national election, right?
I don't know that we should be here on election day personally. but
It's gonna be, this election day is gonna be so crazy. I don't think we should have it scheduled that day.
Never. be on
I think we should
election
just do it
day.
the next night or the night before. Yeah.
Yeah, but what about meeting in here then?
What's
I'd
that?
rather.
They can only be there,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I'd rather not be here that night. I'd
And
rather
also
not.
there might be parking issues.
So-
Yeah, it's gonna be so long if we have to have different, social distance for elections or whatever, I think we cannot meet that night.
So when we move it to the 4th, Jackie, you good with that?
Wednesday the 4th,
Yeah, we just definitely can't meet election night.
Monday. Monday
Let's
or
do it the
Wednesday.
night after. Let's just.
Okay,
Monday.
Wednesday.
I agree.
Okay, we'll
Okay.
talk about that there.
That's the change then, November the 4th,
Okay.
Wednesday.
Okay,
All right. All in favor of the motion changes?
All right.
Any opposed? Number 7, authorization. Beginning with Stephanie Otto, James Crenshaw, and the superintendent of schools to sign drafts for the High School Students Association. Allison Rogotsky, Dr. Charles Suriano, and the superintendent of schools to sign drafts for the middle school student activities, and Amy Navarre, Elizabeth Doyle, and superintendent of schools to sign the draft for the elementary school activities. That's item number 1 under 7. We go down to item number 6, authorize the superintendent to utilize the power of interim appointments between board meetings. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 8, bonding personnel. Number 1, resolve that the board approve a $1 million bond, excess limits for the following positions, and each covering the services of the superintendent of schools, assistant superintendent for business, high school principal, middle school principal, elementary school principal, district clerk, treasurer, internal claims auditor, and payroll clerk, student association activities director, the paraprofessional Teresa Talmadge of the East Hampton Union Free School District, town of East Hampton, as prepared by NYSER for the period beginning July 1st, 2020, and ending June 30th, 2021. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Standard, yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 9, other items. Resolved that the superintendent of schools act as the school district representative for and to sign all applications in conjunction with projects under Chapter 1 and 2 of the Education Consolidation and Improvement Act. That's item number 1. We go down to
Item
item
E.
number 8.
Yep.
Is it 8?
Yep.
Resolve the following board members will serve on East Hampton's boards committees for the 2020-21 school years as follows. And it's our normal boards, which we'll do.
I make a suggestion that all the people that were on the old ones be returned to that if they choose.
Let's do a motion and we'll second, then we'll discuss it. How's that?
All right, I make the motion.
Motion, second?
Second.
Okay, discussion. Do you guys want to do that?
So,
Anybody
for
on,
all the same people, I recommend that.
I have the list.
anybody on a committee that they don't want to be on, or is there a committee you do want to be on?
I like that we had a bunch on the same, like academic and policy were back to back,
Yeah,
and we had the same people.
Yeah,
on
that does, yeah, that's fine with me. I'm okay with where I don't want to move.
yeah,
Right.
meeting times.
That always be Adams.
Yeah.
Yeah, so keep that the same.
Yeah.
okay.
And by the way, I want the public to know that these meetings
Correct,
are open to other board members and anybody in the public or not.
Yes,
correct.
they are.
Anybody.
It's been a
in the
little
public.
tough because of the Zoom factor
Yeah.
of social distancing, so
Right.
it's been difficult to have the public Zoom in, because it's kind of, I don't know. The open meetings laws are ever sort of adjusting
Right.
at the moment, but if somebody has something they want to speak about, or just contact the superintendent's office.
Yeah.
Right.
district
Well, they're
secretary.
not allowed to speak at those meetings.
No, but they can go and listen. They can listen.
And then contact the
Yeah.
staff.
And we've had JP this past year before COVID, like athletic committee, we
Yeah.
had public participate a lot in athletic,
Yes, we
you
did.
know, occasionally in academic. Yeah.
I agree. And actually, there is something that I think some parents are interested in, maybe Wendy will bring this up now, but we didn't have our athletic committee meeting yet, because there is discussion, and it's at the discussion phase only, that the junior varsity softball field, we're trying to figure out placement for that. But that also impacts other sports. No decision has been made yet. It's under discussion. Only one board member was present, Sandy. And she said, let's refer this to the committee first. And
I was
then,
there at the athletic committee meeting, but not at the second one.
But
Yeah.
was there a recommendation?
no, we made no recommendation. We just,
It needs further discussion.
we
Are
just,
there two different spots?
No, there's four.
there were actually 4 spots
Wow.
for softball.
I would like to hear from the public on it. I think it needs to be a broader meeting with a little bit more input beyond even us. If you ask me, that's my opinion.
Correct.
Definitely.
All right.
Can somebody write up the 4 spots, because
I think they've
to my
already done
knowledge.
it.
Yeah, can I make a suggestion on that? Like, one thing that might make sense, those sort of discussions are really hard to have remotely. Like maybe you do a date where people meet on the field and discuss it in person.
We did,
We did.
we did.
And what's the deadline before we got?
There is no, things
Well, I know
are,
it's a spring sport.
Yeah,
but at some point-
exactly. It's a spring sport, and we definitely said we're not moving forward until after the field hockey
Right.
season starts.
Right, but we should make a decision what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
doing this summer.
Yeah.
I mean, that way they can move ahead in the fall, get the grass planted,
Yeah,
do all that. But I would like to have, I couldn't make that meeting I wanted to, and I had it on my calendar, and then I looked and it was 11:30 or it was a half hour whenever the meeting started, I missed it. So I couldn't, but I do think it needs more input. I personally like where it used to be, but I know that interferes with soccer, so the soccer, I think, might be one of the easier fields to move,
Right.
because I think they're a little more versatile.
Yeah.
Field hockey, you've got to be on a smooth surface or a smoother surface, and it's got to be, I mean, and that's just my personal opinion,
Yes,
but I think there's a bigger picture.
and there's a bit of a tradition there with
Well, Ms. Cooper,
Coach
exactly,
Cooper.
exactly.
That
And those
field
front
was sacred.
Those front fields, PAL uses and a lot of
Yeah,
other teams,
right there.
they're gonna be really hard to keep smooth.
Good point.
Yeah.
Football does too.
Yeah.
If we get
So-
football back.
They're rough to even run on.
And the whole intention here was not to displace one for another. We're
Right.
just trying to make what we have better.
Right.
So it's a deeper discussion,
Yes.
and we're happy to have it,
Mhm.
but at the same time, we need everyone's input. And,
Yeah.
with what's going on today, it's very difficult to get it because
Right.
everybody's,
Well, they can also email us.
yeah, they can,
You know, if
absolutely,
you wanna
yes.
give a comment or an opinion.
And you can
email
always do that.
BOE@youthschools.org.
Always, yes. Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to add, if you guys do decide to add committees in the summer, just give the district clerk a little notice so that I could prepare.
Yeah.
Yes.
with-
Yes.
And we
with,
definitely,
well,
we definitely are gonna do
Shouldn't
that.
we start to be able to do meetings in person here soon? I mean, we
Yeah.
should be able to do our meetings in
Yeah.
person.
Well,
There's a setting
actually,
like this.
We can use this room right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially for the summer, there's nothing, I don't think there's anything going on in here, well, specifically, I mean, maybe there's a few things,
Didn't
but.
Cornwall just extend it to August 4th?
In terms of the virtual meetings, we can
board
still,
meetings.
we can still continue
We're allowed,
virtual
but we don't have
meetings,
to.
but you can, if we're socially distanced.
I would prefer to do it this way myself.
Agreed.
Yes.
And anybody that doesnn't want to is welcome to Zoom in. That's fine too. I like it this way. That's,
Yeah.
I don't want to do it over TV.
Mhm.
But anyway. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So we're keeping the
Yeah.
committees
Just
as,
as they were
Yeah,
last.
and the meeting time the same also.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we finally got it to it works pretty good, so.
Yeah.
Never is perfect, but that's the way it is. Number 10, recommend the board approve the following members to the CSE committee for the 2020-21 school year, beginning with Cindy Allentuck, Director of PPS, and then down to standing committee members, which the last one was Amy Powell. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 11, recommend that the board approve the following members to the CPSD committee for the 2020-21 school year, beginning again with Cindy Allentuck, Director of PPS, and again, any of Amy Pella, standing committee members.
What does, could I make a motion to accept it? Question, what does
as
CPSC?
preschool. We're responsible, even though the county finances it, our committee is responsible for identifying students who might have special needs. So it's the Committee for Preschool Special Education.
Okay.
Different than school age. When they become school age, kindergarten on, it's the CSE.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 12, recommend the board approve the following members to the 504 committee for the 2020-21 school year. Cindy Allentuck, Director of PPS, and all they go down to Amy Pell, standing committee members. Can I have a motion?
I make it.
Second?
Okay, Rich, what is 504?
504, Adam can answer that better since he was the chair of this.
It's based on deciding and defining a child having a handicapping condition rather than a classification. So something that substantially limits their ability to participate in school. It's not disability law. It's basically, accessibility.
Mhm.
So 504, which is under the American with Disabilities Act, it can follow the kids wherever they go. If a parent chooses to talk, we can talk about when employees want to come back. It's all covered under section 504 with COVID and identifying yourself as having a handicapping condition. It substantially limits your ability to succeed.
And an example of that might be, John, where a student might be blind, so he would qualify for 504 services.
I see.
That would impair his life functioning
Right.
throughout his entire lifespan.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 13, recommend the board approve the following supplementary pay rates for the 2020-21 school year. The first one is substitute teacher uncertified, down to substitute nurse certified, 150 per day for the nurse. Can I have a motion?
And after next day.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Down to instructional employee at the non-professional rate, which is $37 per hour. Can I have a motion?
I make it.
Second?
Question, any other numbers up from previous
They're the
years?
same. As a matter of fact, I was toying in my mind, it's such a chore getting sub teachers, but I'm not really sure how this year is going to pan out. So
Right.
that's something we can revisit when we see how the year is going.
So, in the past, was it hard to get, was it hard to get substitute teachers?
Yes, and that's a Long
More than
Island,
any other thing?
Long Island problem.
And, is the 150 standard? in
It's
each state?
competitive. We're a little bit above actually,
Okay.
but
Yes, money.
Yeah.
To get here.
Yeah.
I mean,
Something to do during the day.
yeah. It's,
Yeah.
we have, luckily, we have a couple of consistent subs that really work out well. And hats off to Sherry Ross, who does like a phenomenal job starting 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, getting the giant
Yes.
puzzle together.
Yes.
She really does a wonderful job.
Yeah, she does do a great job.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, then we move now ready for the consent. agenda.
But I think you just have to do public comments first.
Oh, yeah, public. Matt, do we have anybody for public comment now? Since I jumped ahead. Matt, you there? We'll come back to public comment.
We have another.
Was that a no?
Wait for it.
So now we're on
For the
the
consent
consent
agenda.
agenda.
Can we motion to accept the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion.
I
Second?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Actually, just a comment. Sue Van Dyke, congratulations.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Retirement, and she's been here for a really long time and
20 years and did a
been a great asset for our kids.
wonderful asset. I mean, we
Thank you.
can't speak high enough about her service.
And
Yeah,
it's
I want to add to that, like, I know that my son spent probably every single day in that office during the washing out his eyes, and she's been such a treasure to all the kids that have passed through John Marshall. So as a mom and as a community member, thank you, Sue.
Absolutely.
And it's unfortunate that we can't really do anything on, retirement parties.
No. And the
It's an odd year. It has
retirees.
any closure
Yeah, no, it's just
for everybody. Yeah.
odd times.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for the graduation.
Yeah.
That's one closure piece we have.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Right now, we get to move on to the superintendent report and recommendations. I tried to jump ahead, but. Number 1, recommend the board approve the following resolution. Resolve, the board approve the following appointments to teach additional sections of the construction effective September 9th, 2020 for the 2020-21 school year with compensation as follows. It begins with Kelly Doyle, FACS teacher at $13,337. And goes on the next page, which is Raymond Patelli, science teacher at $7,246. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion.
Second.
Rich, you want to explain what you got going on there?
Maybe I'm going to hand it one to Adam. I mean, it's.
They're all enrollment, I don't want to say problems, but challenges, which is great because you look at the high school, thanks to the master schedule of moving kids out of study halls, we have two family consumer science teachers, soon to have 3 when the kitchen and stuff are complete. That's how much our enrollment is in those classes that they have to teach 6. That's, I mean, when I came here, that was not a problem. I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
we were
it's
down, I think,
classes.
1.5 or 1 barely, but with building it up and putting the younger kids into family consumer science and getting them out of study hall, it's worked. And I give the teachers credit for creating a really, engaging program. And, if you going down to the middle school, I mean, if you look at Karen Crowley, the French numbers are through the roof there. And we feel that at the high school right after that. So
And just so you know, we were trying to be fiscally prudent in hiring a part-time French teacher.
Exactly.
We just couldn't find anybody.
It's not worth it
It's not
either.
worth it, and
Yeah.
She's willing to do it. I mean,
and she
Yeah.
does a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Adam, are all these, except for Karen, all high school?
No, there are Christine Swickert's Christine's going to the elementary school.
Wow.
She's helping
Yeah.
with the flexible.
Yeah, so
Oh,
we
great.
said, we're never gonna find that part of a position, basically, I think it was 2 teaching sections, but for one, we're never gonna get something.
still gonna be in high school too?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
teaching here and going down there,
Wow.
so.
Plus,
uh,
plus
I
as
still like
as the-
that.
as the
Yeah.
coordinator,
Yes.
she gets to oversee the program.
And she was working with Beth on the flats the whole time anyway, so.
And really involved with the dual language.
Yep.
Great.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 2, these individuals be appointed to K-12 program coordinators for the 2020-21 school year and compensated for such services at the annual stipend of $9,455. It begins with Unified Arts with Heather Evans.
Yeah, all the way
It goes all the way down to
Marguerite Dunn.
what's being done at the high school. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second? Second. Any discussion?
Yeah, I think this, the K-12 coordinators, do they have a full schedule or they get a no
Yes, they
duty?
do
or-
now, yes. We put them back to 5 periods, right, Adam?
I think
Except for the,
art
Art.
isn't,
and PE, because PE is,
yes.
and Troy. I think there were, so if you look at
Well,
it,
there's a K-12 coordinator and some of them are.
The regular coordinators, the 9-12 and the building level coordinators for each of the buildings teach full schedules, 5 sections.
Okay.
K-12 have reduced teaching sections.
Yeah.
Because they're coordinating.
That makes sense.
and then because they obviously travel.
They do a great job.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm gonna go on record as being opposed, Harry, if I can be opposed.
Okay.
All right.
Do I see this in? Do we see this in?
Yes, because that is broken up like 6 through 12 and then K through 5. So 6 through 12 is James Stewart, and K through 5 is Anne Marie Brown.
So everybody but the K-12 coordinators teach a full schedule
Correct.
and they get compensated
With the
money wise
stipend.
only.
That's right.
Okay, number 3. Recommended the board approve the following appointments for the 2020-21 school year. Beginning with the summer school program, and Aubrey Peterson, and it ends at 12. Well, I don't, it's mine.
Right every time.
Okay, down to Deborah Anderson, a certified instructor, rated K. And does anyone lead up to that?
That was a
Yeah.
substitute.
Substitute,
Coming in
okay.
as substitute. She retired.
Gotcha. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
Can I have a question? Can we discuss? After, do we have to vote and then we discuss, or can we discuss?
We got the second, you can go.
Okay, so my question is, and I know we're gonna talk some more about this later. We don't know what's happening with COVID. Obviously, our goal as a board, I know we've discussed, is to reopen to the extent we're able to with live instruction and live programming. I know we're gonna take a lot of that from the governor and what we're allowed to do. But there are things like library after-school supervision, student internship coordinator, locker maintenance. There are a lot of different things here that frankly may or may not come to be. So can we talk? I mean, I know that, and I don't want to be difficult on this, but at the end of March, when all of our spring sports were canceled, we decided as a board to go ahead and give a partial compensation for those who had given so much time getting organized off season. But I feel as though we have notice here, and I'm not clear that I'm willing to go ahead and fund these positions if they're not being done.
And Jackie, I think you're right on
It's
line
a
with
deeper
that.
conversation.
Yeah, but it's also something that, like the extracurricular activity, which never rose to your level. Folks were paid up until March 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Documentation. The same thing will happen in this area. Obviously, if we're not going to be able to open school or the weight room,
Right.
We're not gonna have supervision.
Right.
Lockers.
This is just purely that if the payment does happen, it's on record for the auditors. So almost
Okay.
as an auditor, check, but at this point, those decisions will certainly be made, and we'll share that with the board.
I do think when we get to new business and the reopening of schools, we have to have a deeper conversation
Yes.
Yeah.
about what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I think Jackie's point is to probably what everyone sitting here is probably
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
So let's, let's do that once we get there.
Yeah.
But
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that, JP. I just wanted to, since we're proving this right now, and since we ran into that before, I want to flag it and say that if programs are not being run,
No,
I am not in support of funding these,
Agreed.
period.
quite honestly, our business office, we call her Eagle Eyes, Catherine Dickinson. There's no way if something's not documented as an actual service that was provided, with no person would get paid.
Okay,
Extreme scrutiny, and that's also Carol helps in that area too.
okay, that's fine. And I want to, in the context of that, I also want to say to those employees that are volunteering, that step up to the plate to do these programs, thank you. It's not that I don't appreciate it. I just,
Right, of
All
course.
right.
So, I mean, Jackie, just so you know and the board knows, we've already done that with summer school.
okay,
We've cut it in half.
thanks, Adam.
We're doing it, so, already, so we're
So, like,
dialing everything
Yeah,
back.
like the hall monitor wasn't needed, the school nurse wasn't needed.
Right.
We only
all those-
hired one teacher per subject
Yeah.
rather than two.
Right.
it's logical, it makes sense, but you have to also do it, you have to be responsible
Yeah.
because it's taxpayer money. So
Yeah.
that's,
Yeah.
that's.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Agreed.
All in favor? Any opposed? Number 4, recommend that the board approve the following interscholastic coaches for the 2020-21 school year. And we begin with cheerleading, varsity, for Simone Johnson. And we go to JV softball with John King. Can I have a motion?
I mean,
Second?
question, where is the winter?
Yeah, I was just saying.
I don't think we've got that far. I think
Yeah.
it happens.
Well, no,
Oh, we got spring, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We got spring,
No,
we have
spring-
some spring.
Some spring are
I don't think it's-
the varsity coaches,
That we know
because
already.
they are hoping to return the
Got it.
summer to offer services. We still are waiting for something from the state for that to
Mhm.
open up. But the varsity coaches that are there, John, are just those that have their
They're all
instruction.
indoor, it's all
It's a,
indoor
they
stuff.
do a
Right.
12-month type of thing.
Okay.
So,
Plus it's
So right
indoor
now-
stuff for the most part.
Yeah,
so you
it's
don't have that.
You know, if
Right
we
now,
can
we
run
have no
sports,
preseason authorization,
nothing.
nothing from the state yet, and
No.
the state would be deciding that in section 11, with section 11
Correct.
and
Correct.
sending it down to us.
And we're in complete consistency with all of the school districts out here. Actually, on Long
So
Island,
there's gonna be no preseason as of now.
as of now, no.
Okay.
No.
if we can run fall sports, these are the coaches.
Correct.
That's what we're saying.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, between
And
all
also,
that, right.
if we can run sports, some of the varsity coaches want to get their kids ready. We have such dedicated coaches now that they're willing to put the time in, and it's basically a 12-month job, even though it's a spring sport.
And if Joe was here, I'd ask, is there any fall sports that need coaches?
No, I think we're good.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
All right, all in favor?
Uh,
Any opposed? Number 5, recommend that the board approve the following grant-related appointments for the 2020-21 school year at the hourly professional rate of $75.35. And it begins with high school programs, after-school programs, with Mr. Hammer and Alexander, they will get paid 15. All right,
Wow.
down
wow.
to the IEP committee, Amy Powell, ending with Mike Patrick. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second? Discussion?
Do we have someone doing the garden in the high school and the garden in the elementary school?
Yes, yes.
Are they on this list?
They don't have to be, board appointed.
They don't have to be. board.
Yeah, we,
That's extracurricular.
Yeah, so,
Extracurricular, it's already in the contract, so
Yep.
they don't show up on the SM code.
and that's Karen DeFranco, who, at the high school, who's,
She's
Yeah.
here.
oh my God, we have she's already got 2 grants, so
Yeah, she got a grant. I
thousands.
I wrote a letter.
I did too.
She's
That's wonderful. She's out there all the time.
I think we upped that site,
We did, I think it's a factor of 4.
yeah, we moved it out a little.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 6, recommend the board approve the following grant-related appointments for the 2020-21 school year at the hourly professional rate of $65. It begins with the middle school reading and writing development, Sarah Palmer, and ends at John Marshall Math and ELA Academy, to be determined.
Yeah.
Can I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 7, recommended that the board approve the following grant-related appointments the 2020-21 school year at the hourly professional rate of $35. And it's district-wide translator, Veronica Gomez. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
All in favor? Any opposed? Number 8, recommended the board approve the curriculum writing project and appointment at the professional rate of pay of $75.35 per hour as follows. 5th grade health education, Jessica Sana. Have a motion?
I make a motion. Second.
Any discussion?
That really came more out of Bob. I think Bob, I don't think you were involved here with that.
No, not with this one, no.
Yeah. But we're just gearing up the health curriculum. We had discussions.
Yeah,
especially
with the
fifth
year or
grade.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All in favor? Any opposed? Number 9, recommend the board appoint the following individuals as school physicians and medical personnel for the 2020-21 school year, beginning with the Morrison Center, Gerald Simons, and down
Go into the next page.
down to advanced rehabilitation medicine, Jennifer Gray, and from Fort Jeff. I have a motion.
I'll make it.
A second.
Any discussion? These are standard positions that need to be filled every year. All in favor? Any opposed? Number 10, recommend the board accept the first reading of the following new district policy for admittance to the dual language program, policy number 8281. And we have to do a motion for that?
Yeah.
Do a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
We should probably have a discussion about it.
Yes, we should.
Do you want to fill us in on
Is Beth here?
No, she's not here for
Do
this
we have the
meeting.
policy in front of us?
Yes.
In our own language?
It was part of.
who attended the meeting? Jeff, you?
Yeah.
I attended the meeting. I mean, the whole policy committee was there. Adam was there, Rich was there, Beth was there. And I'm reticent to characterize it all without having Beth characterize it all. But, the short piece of it is that, and Adam, chime in if you want to, and Rich chime in if you want to. But for board members, the short thing is that Beth looked at other schools' policies, and this is modeled on that. And the bottom line is that it's a policy for a lottery and for who gets priority for the dual language program, and it's focusing on English language learners who would have automatic admission to the class depending upon their level of proficiency. And then beyond that, it sets criteria for running the lottery. And the goal for all of us is to have it be extremely transparent. It would be done publicly to give everyone a fair opportunity. I mean, it's a very popular option, and we wish we could accommodate everyone, but we have more students requesting to be in the class than we have spaces for it, and we do not have the resources. We've all gotten requests from parents to eliminate the lottery. We can discuss more, and I'll turn it over to board members. But when we agreed to do this program, we were pretty clear about what the capacity was for the district resources, and we cannot hire enough teachers to expand it and make this available for everyone. And the original thought of this, and Elizabeth isn't here either, right? Elizabeth Revesz? The original thought of this is really, the primary goal is serving our English language learners and to do it in a richer way. And that's really how the program is structured.
Yeah.
So anyway, does anyone want to chime in? I don't want to dominate the conversation, but we did have a very robust conversation about this the other day in committee.
And lottery was also discussed when we decided to have the program.
Yeah.
Lottery is nothing new.
We were not new.
Parents saying that they understood that last year we didn't have to do a lottery, but we talked about a lottery, and all the parents said they accepted the fact that we had to do a lottery.
Right.
That's what it would be.
Right, they
And
accepted
of
the
course-
fact that
and of
they
course
would
they
do
don't have to
that
do it.
over not having the program at all.
Exactly.
I have a question. When is the lottery gonna be?
End of July.
July 29th. And it's
Here
gonna
at the
be in the
high
high school
Here at the high
auditorium.
school auditorium.
Okay, and I got another question. What is the maximum limit we can allow in the class?
21 students per class, so 42 students.
42 students. And how many, at this point, do we know how many kids are automatically
It's
qualified?
16 to 20, where we're not, there's a couple of parents who haven't made a decision yet. In terms of the ones that do have a spot, the level 1s and 2s that have a spot.
So they can opt out if they want to?
Yes,
They can, okay.
yes, yep.
And so it looks like it's gonna be, there's gonna be a number of kids left out, right?
Correct.
Yes, there'll be a backup list or whatever. it's
Yes.
called.
And
then
there's
the
a wait,
backup list-
there'll be a wait list, so if students do drop out, students will be ranked 1 through whatever, probably close to 20.
Yeah.
Like how they came out of the
Yeah,
lottery.
exactly.
It's all digital.
What was discussed as far as the sibling rules? What was-
Yeah.
We are not doing a sibling policy.
I think I have to agree with that. I think that,
Yeah, it's unfair.
yeah.
This is public school, not private school, where we can
And-
rally for our kids.
And then again, it's for the ELL students,
Right,
it's perhaps,
Well, and when you look at it, I know it will benefit maybe that one family to have 2 students to go through it, but what about the family that didn't get
Right,
any
right.
opportunity? So
Exactly.
you sort of have to spread it out a little bit more, in my personal opinion.
Okay, and this year, for the first time, we're doing
Absolutely.
first grade too.
correct.
And those kids that
They're there.
were there, that's set.
Yes.
I can see it.
And actually, those kids, 4 students dropped out. That's why we keep the enrollment a bit robust, because there is records of things lost during the year.
People move, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the 4 kids in first grade,
Yes.
dropped out, are they gonna be replaced by new kids?
No,
No.
They can't be.
they can't be because of the
They're
curriculum.
miscellations, the curriculum.
And one more,
That kindergarten, that was explained by Beth rather well, that kindergarten year is so important, because that's when the true alphabet learning occurs in both languages. And it's a very vital year for it to occur.
And then again, we had just for those who were not at the meeting with Sarah and Sandy and myself, there's really basically no preferences other than for the early stage ELL learners.
Correct.
Other than that, so they estimate because of Corona, they were not able to do all of the tests that they generally do to determine placement. But based on what the teachers thought, we think that should fill about 20 spots, 21 spots. They weren't 20 spots. So there should be approximately 21 spots available for other children.
Yeah.
And that's open to everyone equally.
And 42 children that will be vying for those 21 spots. Okay,
Correct.
right,
correct.
and
But
so,
some of them, Christina, already placed. So because those are, we're using this to fulfill the state mandates with respect to
Right.
serving to our to the early learners, English language learners. So it's about 20-something spots that will be open for lottery.
40 slots.
so just as a point, not every Hispanic student we have is automatically, needs to be qualified. So they are in, some of those people are in lotteries too.
Correct.
So,
Yes.
and then the other 2 classes that are non-dual language,
Yeah.
we are doing language.
Correct.
Just last.
The FLES program, which is very
Which has
successful.
been very successful.
And that's
And
why
it's also-
Christine's going down to.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's one of the
So
reasons.
that's a huge plus too.
Yeah, and
So-
it's been a successful program this past year. It really-
Yeah.
really
So-
was.
And the
Working out
important
well.
part was, like, the board made this a priority, if you remember, was when we took the Spanish program out of the elementary school, it was a program that really, kids only were in a class for 20 minutes a week. And
Exactly. It was awful.
it wasn't working. And it was very hard. We did a lot of research in a sense of what's the right program to implement. And that's when, there's a lot of discussion. This is a tough one.
But again,
Still way better than what we had.
No question
I
about it.
think we're all in agreement, not only the board, but the elementary school, everybody involved in this program, that it's been successful.
Yeah.
Yes, it has more problems this year because it's been successful,
Right.
but we're still thinking that we go forward, right? And it's a good idea we're going
Well,
forward.
when you think of it, 61 out of, I think it was 74 students in that class opted to be in the program. So that's a kind of a high rate of success.
Now, how is it gonna be affected though if we do have to be primarily online in the fall? Is it still going to be
Yes.
a valuable program, or is it gonna make it much more difficult and muddy the waters?
I don't think so,
That's
because
the
there's going to be
reason it's
there's going to be, we had that discussion too, during policy committee meeting. In fact, there's a summer program now where the Spanish teacher is teaching those kindergarten kids who missed out. And it seems like it's working out. So with like the alphabet and those types of skills, the reading skills that are needed in both languages,
It's a small group,
I
but
think it's
it's,
going to happen.
but it's working, so it's a good test case for
Yeah.
how they're gonna do it.
Like Christina, quite honestly, like anything else, we're in a very experimental, innovative year.
Right.
And AP capstone, we can pick out any
Right.
program really and say, how
Right.
is this going to work?
Rich, on the east end, I know Southampton is running a program, and we are, nobody else is, right?
Just as close as we know, it's Pat Charter Network is the next closest.
Uh-huh.
Because it's very challenging. I
Yes.
mean, it's not a
Well, there's an
easy thing.
Yeah.
It's
And listen, people won't be happy with the lotto decision.
No.
I mean, and nor were we, so everybody's really
No.
clear.
Well,
And-
Southampton went through this.
Right,
And that
and
was
the
one of the reasons
same.
we were hesitant again.
Yeah,
We were
I was there.
So it happened, right,
Yeah.
exactly.
The same,
Subway.
the same discussions, the
Yeah.
same at board meetings, the same,
Right,
it was, because the first group went through as a pilot group, and then all of these discussions happened,
right.
And
the
last
same.
year's group didn't have to worry about the lottery so much.
Yeah.
It was a possibility, but it was the first year.
Right.
So of course, they don't have an issue with it, but now this year's parents
Right.
are
Right.
stuck with what we have, and that's what we were afraid of.
Right, yeah.
And that's one of the reasons we were reluctant to try this,
Correct.
but you don't want to hold back, you don't want to hold back a program because of what might happen, you just don't know, so.
Can I ask a quick question before we move on, just by way of explanation for anyone who watches this, who wants to understand it? And I know that there will be unhappiness with the lottery, as we just were discussing. It's certainly not any of our first choices. However, Adam and Rich, if you could talk for a second, I think that people don't fully understand, about the program and the hiring, how we run it in terms of hiring and our ability to even budget aside, our ability to even find teachers as the program moves up and you expand it to do it. Can you just comment on that for a minute, please?
So in order to be an elementary school teacher where this program is housed, number one, you need elementary school certification. Generally, that's K through 6. So finding those teachers are relatively easy. But when you add the bilingual extension, which is part of another certification, it's very difficult to find those folks. What we did is when we had an opening recently, we had 2 retirements, Deb Anderson and library
Tony Theodore.
Tony. We actually said prefer elementary school certification required, preference bilingual certification extension. We did not find one person with bilingual
Right.
certification. They're just not there.
It's a problem.
It's the same, we're having the same struggle with chemistry right now at the high school.
Look at Spanish.
And
Today, just
Spanish,
Spanish, 7-12.
7-12. We
We did get
almost,
lucky today.
we got lucky today. And it's very, if there are youngsters out there that are listening, go for LOTE certification, bilingual certification, TESOL certification, you'll get a job
Science and math
in science.
at the higher level.
At the higher level, correct.
Yeah,
What's the acronym, LO?
LOT, languages other than English. That's
It's
our
different than,
foreign language, it's the same, we used to
World
call it
language.
foreign language.
right.
Yeah.
But there is a separate one for Spanish.
and French, that's the difficulty. We try finding a French teacher because we're trying to be fiscally prudent by, and also helping out parents being very professional, to say the least. It's hard to teach 6 classes. So we were hoping to get like a part-time French teacher, no animal. It doesn't exist. We're very worried, really.
Yeah, because they're gonna, Christina being retiring.
Okay, and our hiring for the fall, is it complete or not?
No. We need 2 chemistry teachers. We have 2 chemistry teachers that.
And that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
We have candidates, we have a pool of certified candidates that we're gonna interview, and when I mean a pool, I mean 3. So Joan's been working on setting them up and helping the high school with that. And then after that, we have a group of potential chemistry teachers who will be COVID certified in September. So the state has granted the ability for teachers who have pending certifications to get a COVID waiver, but they will only give the COVID waiver September, I think Sherry told me September. Great timing.
Yeah.
So that's like our backup for this. So, and then after that, I have another backup where we start playing with a master schedule.
And we also, John, have the school nurse at the retirement. We just congratulated Sue Van Dyke.
Can we reach out, especially, can we advertise what we need somewhere else, like the city?
Yeah.
Can we get experienced teachers to come out here where we're safe?
Place to live.
Yeah,
They're already.
same old story.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not really so much, I mean, I don't know how much we discussed in public versus in executive on it, but we have discussed before whether or not there's something, John Heidelberger, I'm looking at you right now, hard to fill positions, what kind of incentives that we can do to fill hard to fill positions.
Correct. Yep.
Financial incentives and others. I mean, we need to lure teachers out to the East End for positions that we can't fill.
Now housing is so much harder.
Well, housing is so hard, but again, I think I don't know if that's a pure union issue or how we approach that, but we've discussed it in the past. I mean, we can't have empty positions.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
So, we need all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, number 10. So now we're at number 11. Recommended the board approve the school meal rate for the 2020-21 school year as follows: elementary school breakfast $1.85, lunch $2.85, middle school breakfast $2.35, lunch $3.35, high school breakfast $2.35, and lunch is $3.35. Have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second. Discussion, are these numbers up, down, or equal?
Same.
Same?
We kept it the same because of the COVID.
Okay.
And also right now we're at about 124 breakfasts and lunches every day.
And we're continuing, Rich, can I confirm it, because we had a discussion, we're continuing to feed kids who need it right now, correct?
Yes.
Delivering
Because we
the
have to
boxes.
do it, right?
No longer have to be, that ended.
Do it, but
We want
Yes.
Yes.
we're doing it not because we have to, but because we want to.
That's right.
Yes, these are our community members.
Thank you, Keith. Did a lot of, I think, how long were you waiting online for the SED?
Oh, no.
5 hours.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So we finally, because we needed a special waiver to be able to move forward with it. So
And are we funding that, or is it still under the under the state funding it?
we're funding it at this point, but we're hoping that
That we get
something's gonna happen.
reimbursed.
We're
It
not-
was a significant.
Did they come out with that, Keith? Yet? Did they say they were gonna help
They're
financially?
gonna fund, I'm not sure the numbers exactly yet, they're gonna fund, it's gonna cost us.
Yeah, we'll be subsidizing part of it, the state will be subsidizing part of it, okay.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 12, recommend the board accept with gratitude a donation from Ina and Jeffrey Garden. Scholarship in the amount of $30,000 to be awarded to 2 Hampton High School graduating seniors in the amount of $15,000 each who are planning to attend a college, university, community college, or trade school.
Wow.
Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. But that's very, very
Is
generous.
that this year or next year?
Yeah, it's gonna be, in a month, we're gonna have a big cook-off. It's gonna almost be like grocery games no, I'm just kidding, we're not doing it. No, Lynn Brown, our counselor coordinator, acted as a liaison to this. I know couldn't be one. She's been involved with the high school before. She's cooked with some of our life school kids. She's just a wonderful person. And this really came out of the blue. So what the counselors are going to do is they're going to solicit applications for it, and because it is going through the school, and then we're going to see if we can give it to two of our current graduates. So
Great.
we are going to,
exciting.
and we're hoping. I'm not positive. I think Lynn might have said this was going to be something a yearly thing, but we'll kind of follow up because the communication obviously now is been very, very tough. But we are greatly
Very happy,
appreciative.
very happy to see junior college and trade school there.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That is
wonderful.
tremendous. I mean, that can do some serious good for someone, and thank you very
It's a
much.
difference maker, I know.
It's huge.
Thank you for the generosity.
Thank you.
Amazing.
Can I have a motion? I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Pretty tough to be opposed to that.
Right? Wow.
I just said it because I have to. Number 13, recommended the board approve the consultant agreement between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Jane Calvetto, the amount of $3,536 as the high school assistant medical medical director for the 2020-21 school year in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said consultant agreement. Can I have a motion?
I'll make that.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Does a wonderful job.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 14, that the board approve the consultant agreement between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Amanda Jones to provide as the high school's vocal director in the amount of $3,162 for the 2020-21 school year in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 15, recommended that the board approve the high school boys and girls cross-country teams to compete at the Ocean State Invitational at Good Goddard Park, East Greenwich, Rhode Island, on September 26, 2020. The estimated cost to the district is $1,050. Admissions fees and transportation costs and other expenses, including the ferries, in the amount of $1,200, will be offset by the students' fundraising. Can I have a motion?
I make it.
Second? This is one they've done for years, if I remember.
Yes.
correctly.
It is.
And it's very early. It's done in July. This is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Good. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? 16. Recommended the board approve the following resolution. Be hereby resolved that the Board of Education of the East Hampton Union Free School District approve an agreement between the Board of Education and Fraser and Feldman LLP to retain the services of Fraser and Feldman as the District General Labor and Special Education Council for the period of July 1st, 2020 through July 30th, 2021. And be it further resolved that the President of the Board be authorized to execute said agreement on behalf of the Board of Education. Can I have a motion?
Make it.
Second?
Second.
And we are well served by that
We
committee,
are very well
Yes.
served.
by that firm.
Yeah, thank you, John. Thank you to the
Yes,
Lions
John.
and everybody that works at the firm. It's been nothing but helpful
Yes.
and professional. Thank you.
Hope you get a raise, John.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 17, recommend the board approve the contracts for cooperative educational services between the East Hampton University School District and Eastern Suffolk BOCES in the amount of $2,473,469.90 for the 2020-21 school year. Can I have a motion?
I make the motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? This is not a negotiable item, so
Nope.
it is what it is.
Yep. Careful and scrutinize that.
Yes.
Went down.
Did it go down?
Good.
Good. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 18, recommended the board approve the membership affiliation agreement between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Scope for the 2020-21 school year. The membership affiliation fees in the amount of $2,720. Can I have a motion?
Make it.
Second? Discussion?
Same.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 19, recommended the board approve the advertising contract between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Miller Advertising Agency Incorporated for the 2020-21 school year in accordance to the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? They've been with us for quite a long time.
Yep.
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 They do. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Number 20.
I'm not opposed. JP, I'm sorry, can I just ask a quick question, going back to number 17 for 1 minute?
Yes.
So now that we're starting, moving some of our programs, hopefully with the kitchen and whatnot to East Hampton, how does that number compare? Or does that number reflect removing the culinary arts from the BOCES budget, or is that there and then do we get a refund if we pull our kids and we're able to get it?
We have to wait till the kitchen's built, but we did move away from that Sequoia program, if you remember, when we had hired the additional psychologists, and we have some of those kids in school now. So we are starting to migrate kids back here. So it does make a difference. Vocational.
Is this budget actually, I don't have last year's budget like approval in front of me. Is this lower or is it the same?
No, less. It was, I think we were at one point about 3,200,000. It's been a slow decline. So we're being very careful.
But this number, Rich, does not yet reflect moving the culinary arts programs to East Hampton?
Not
They're
ready.
not active yet.
You're not-
Yeah, I didn't think so. I just wanted to confirm that. I'm sorry. Thank you. I apologize.
That's 300,000 less.
$300,000 less than last year.
Okay, thank you.
All right, number 20. Let's see. Recommended the board approve the contract consultant agreement between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Family Service League Incorporated in the amount of $5,000 for services pertaining to intervention, crisis, psychiatric student evaluations for the 2020-21 school year in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second? Any discussion? It's been a long-term agreement and
Money
much
well
needed.
spent.
Much money.
We spend a lot more than that.
Yeah,
A lot more.
it's a good relationship.
And
We have-
especially now.
We have a social worker here, you know, I mean,
Exactly.
and how many, when we're able to get kids in the clinic, I mean, it's been a very good they've been very responsive to our needs.
That's good that the public knows that too.
Yeah.
Because I think it's something they probably really don't know.
Yeah.
So in the, anytime if anybody's watching,
Yeah, it's a big time bargain that benefits a lot of kids.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 21, recommended the board approve the following resolution. Resolve that the board hereby, the board appoint Harriet Hellman as the chief medical officer for such services be paid the annual amount of $1,500 and approve the chief medical officer agreement between the East Hampton Union Free School District, Harriet Hellman, NP, for the 2020-21 school year in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement. Make a motion. Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Thank you.
Thank you to her. And
Sounds
she's
like
been,
a good deal at any point.
right, and with the reopening task force, she's been intricately involved. We've had many discussions already. She represents the group of, I can't remember if it's the Pediatric Association or the actual Medical Association, but they have certain recommendations, and it's always good to hear in terms of the reopening of school. She's really very much on top of that,
Yeah,
and she's a great asset. Great asset.
All in favor? Any opposed? Number 22, recommend the board approve the proposal between renewal from Castle Software Incorporated dated April 21st, 2020 in the amount of $10,210.80 for the purpose of providing the district with software licenses to provide K-12 district site license, including method test prep, SAT, ACT for 175 licenses for 2020-21 school year. Do I have a motion?
I make it.
Second?
Second.
Discussion?
I'm gonna give that to Alan.
No, Castle provides a variety of test-generated questions, study guides for kids at a variety of levels at the high school. Plus, we get access to method test prep, which I usually send out a link, or I used to send out a link multiple times during the school year to please take advantage. This is free for any participant any member of our community to use to go online. And that's kind of what you're doing anyway. And you get SAT and ACT prep.
All in favor? Any opposed? Number 23, recommend the board approve the renewal proposal from I read that earlier, and I'm like, what? Dated June 17th, 2020. In the amount of $5,086.10 for the purpose of providing the district software license for Event Essentials Pro and Connect schedules for the 2020-21 school year. Can I have a motion? Second?
So this is obviously something new.
No, this is school dude, so that.
I got a bill that says that's.
So,
We approved this before, none of us remember
yes,
that name.
this is how we communicate and staff communicates with our tech department. So like Chuck and everybody. So when you need things done, it's a software-based program that kind of does their scheduling. It's really, they insist on using it. You know, like it is the only way they're able to find out what everything's going on. And he gets
So they just come and explain the name. I don't know.
This is not new.
No,
No,
no.
I must have missed that
Techie
meeting.
people.
I know, I don't remember.
I don't remember reading it either.
Yeah, they had a code word for it last year, I think.
Yeah, it might be.
Probably.
DBA. Anyway, all in favor? Any opposed? 24, recommend the board approve the service order form ID 20024-297. I'm not going to read it, it's longer than I expected. Dated May 27, 2020 from Rosetta Stone Limited in the amount of $13,650. The purpose of providing language learning software and services to the district for the 2020-21 school year. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second? Any discussion?
Do we know how many people or children are taking advantage of the Rosetta Stone software licenses that we're using? I know we had some Chinese, we had made other classes available for independent study.
We have definitely, we've had a bunch this year take advantage of it. Obviously, kind of, a lot of it pulled back a little bit when things happened. I know I approved a number of partial credit and extension. We have a few kids even doing it over the summer. I definitely do think if it's not used in other areas, it's something we should probably take a look at.
But
in the
staff,
long
I
run.
know staff also.
Yeah, staff, we have
Especially
access
the beginning
licenses.
Spanish
Yeah.
licenses.
It's definitely something that's being used. I think it might be
We should,
something
you know,
at some point this
we'll
year.
red flag that one.
Yeah.
Adam, maybe we can, we can just take it to the academic committee and get a sense of how it's being used.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And maybe all of these should go there.
We have used it successfully for programs like kids who wanted to take Chinese and other classes that we've not been able to offer. So-
These are all software licenses, one after the other,
Correct.
and they all should be looked at by administration and,
Yep.
we're not
Yes.
using them, fine.
No, just
Oh, we're
one.
done?
No, we
They
are,
have to be, they can
Yeah.
hear hopefully somebody.
All the other ones are being used, this is.
just this one, which is red flag.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 25, recommended the board approve the renewal quote from Brain Pop dated July 10th, 2020, in the amount of $5,310 for the purpose of providing unlimited 12-month access to standard online lessons, including embedded, creative, and projects across Brain Pop Junior, and Brain Pop Espanol for the 2020-21 school year. Can I have a motion?
I make it,
Second? Discussion? I know we talked about this one before.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is not pretty much now.
The kids really use this one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 26, recommend the board approve the quote from Grammarly Incorporated dated June 18th, 2020, the amount of $5,400 for the purpose of providing subscription for Grammarly writing support, suite services to the district's K-12 student, valid from December 8th, 2020 to December 8th, 2021. Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
Second.
In discussion, I know this is another one we've done before.
Very important, and teachers use this all the time too. This is really worthwhile.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 27, recommended that the board approve the Perfect Forms and user software license renewal invoice dated March 25th, 2020 from Perfect Forms Incorporated for providing district with an on-demand full license in the amount of $5,400 for 2020-21 school year. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? Recognize that one.
Yeah, we've been using that for a while.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 28, recommended the board approve the software as a service agreement invoice between East Hampton Union Free School District and Textiles LLC for the purpose of providing renewal of computer software and related services in the amount of $15,000 for the 2020-21 school year. Have a motion?
I make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
We've been
Same, we've been with them for
Yeah.
quite time, and really important for like CSIEP development, and it just needs to be there. It's the connector, the behind the scene connector,
Yeah.
basically.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 29, recommended the board approve the following contract extensions for the 2020-21 school year in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreements. Number 1, Davis Vision insurance coverage. Number 2, Whitson Culinary Group. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Did we bid out, which is the service well? We didn't bid this out, did we, or did we?
Whitson's we did.
Yeah, we have.
Yes, we have to, but they're very competitive. So we're,
And they've been a good partner of ours.
Yep.
They've made some huge changes when we asked, and there's been committees put together. They're doing our food that we're producing now for the
I
community.
mean, Melissa Curran should be, I mean, she just puts an endless amount of time in. She figures efficient ways of getting the food out to our kids.
Great.
Have you looked at the
Any
numbers
other
that we're
bids?
producing?
I think we got one from Harold. Right.
Oh, yeah, we got that before.
There's only Whitson and that one other company.
Pretty much.
Elaborate.
And then you have the other option is sell-hop, which I don't think we want to go down.
Oh,
That becomes union.
Yeah.
oh, all employees, I forget.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 30, recommended the board approve the contract agreements between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Brown & Brown of New York Incorporated for the group long-term disability policy agreement, and at the annual cost of 0.255 cents per thousand, per 100, I'm sorry, for the 2020-21 school year, and for the life and accident insurance policy agreement at the annual cost as follows: group life, 0.160 per 1,000, accidental death and dismemberment at 0.200 per 1,000, 2020-21 school year, in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement.
Excuse me, Keith.
Yes.
This resolution needs to be tabled.
Okay.
This is one of those contracts that, I thought Isabel had on hand and she does
Okay.
not. So
Okay.
We will be approving this down the line, but we don't have
Okay.
the contract
We
yet.
just need a motion to table it.
What's the motion to table?
I have a motion to table.
I make it.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Carry the table. All right. Number 31, recommended the board approve the Brown of New York Incorporated Privacy and Security Agreement for the purpose of accepting regulations issued by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services under HIPAA in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement.
I make the motion.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 32, recommended the board approve the renewal of education data, New York Cooperative Bid Maintenance Program for the 2020-2021 school year at the annual cost of $5,470 in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second,
Second.
any discussion?
Except for forever.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 33, recommend the board approve the contract agreement between EFPR Group LLP, the East Hampton Union Free School District for this period of 3 years at the following rates: 2020-21 school year, $25,500. For the 2020-21 school, 21-22 school year, $26,000. 23-24, $26,500 for the purpose of providing external audit services in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement. Have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
I'm very happy with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we have to do.
Yep.
No choice.
They're on.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Number 34, recommended the board approve the contract agreement between Questar 3 and the East Hampton Union Free School District for the period of 4 years and the following rates: 2020-21, $6,750, 21-22, $6,880, 22-23, $7,015, and $7,160 for the purpose of providing external audit services in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in this agreement. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Again, they've been good.
Well
They've been
served.
very good to us.
Yeah.
They've been well served, absolutely. All in favor? Any opposed? Number 35, recommended that the board approve the contract agreement between the East Hampton Union Free School District and Colorado's Life Insurance of New York for the purpose of providing self-funded dental administrative in the amount of $3.75 per employee for the 2020-21 school year in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in said agreement. Can I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
No, we've done this before. Is there a change in price on this? It's the same, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? All right.
Okay, wait,
Well done.
we got it. For this meeting only, let's double JP's salary. Because I gotta work so hard. High school. I'll donate half of my salary to his.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
And while we're on that topic, I think we should also thank
Terry for writing me that up.
Harry has
No
been-
doubt, this has been going on since May. Since May.
I'm not gonna recommend her salary be doubled.
He's not donating either.
But she can have half of mine.
What happened? I see favoritism on it.
That's right.
No, I thank you, Gary. We know that
Yeah.
the election, from the election to this
and
new
there's,
work, to
yeah.
the day-to-day, everything, new hires, the whole thing is, and it's not, it's always hard, but this year is extra hard.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
it was a tough
Yeah.
one. And just the transition too, that, with Isabel leaving. and Bob
Yeah, no, there's a
leaving,
lot
it
of
was like-
changes here. I mean, I mean, Adam, it's weird because we don't really notice it because Adam's always at our meetings, but
Right.
now he's sitting at the table, it's just different,
Yeah.
You can see it when somebody asks you a question, for you,
Yeah.
you're not used to that. It's different.
They actually listened to you.
So we have old business, but we don't have anything on
No,
the.
because I think the pressing question,
Yeah, is the
Yeah.
reopening under new business. Everyone
No.
wants to hear that.
so I think if I had maybe just,
Wait, actually, I give under all business, let me just, that the turf field is
yes,
in the process of being replaced, and that's
Correct.
why everything is closed down. So a lot of community members are like,
Yes.
why is it still closed?
Yeah.
But we're replacing it.
yes, and the construction, actually, they started marking it already, so it is
Okay.
different areas where it's being constructed. yes.
How long is that
The
expected
parking
to
lot has
take?
some
It's
construction
usually
to do.
about a month or so. We're not
Okay.
sure, but,
So-
and the parking lot also is under construction.
Right.
So that's the new flow, how everything.
Yes.
The kitchen, right, bids are out for the kitchen.
Correct.
So that's in
Terry
process.
put that together, they'll be in the paper.
They get open July 23rd.
Okay. And then one last thing too,
Mike is,
the
thinking,
bus barn.
The bus one.
What is our status there? Anything?
just almost through SCD, it looks like we're getting close.
Okay.
Mike just came for some other papers, which we sent to him, but because of the delay in mails, didn't get to him, so he actually
Yeah.
made a trip up here, our district architect, what he had to do, and he has connections with people up there.
Okay.
If you remember the bus barn, we kind of went to an outside
Yeah, expediter,
firm
right?
Right.
to expedite it. Unfortunately, those all closed down. So our paperwork got a little lost in the shuffle. Mike was able to re-enter that properly, and we're very close to having that approved. So we're actually
So
hoping,
things are moving.
yes, we're hoping to actually have some construction done for the kitchen, that heavy work
Right.
done after the bidding is approved. So we might be able to get some stuff done in
And
the
Rick,
month of August.
what about Johnson Controls? Where are we with what they're doing and what
To be
happened?
honest,
Yeah, they were
those-
they were starting on the
Yeah.
solar panels on the roof, but what happened?
I really
I'm
don't
sure they
know.
stopped like everyone else,
Yeah.
nobody like
Right.
our service
I have to-
providers,
I'll-
if they have
But they
to.
did start like a
I'll
month.
They were doing a lot of work, so, yeah, they were doing a lot of it
Are
from.
there any deadlines on that?
With Johnson? No, I don't think
No.
so.
But they were
have to
a
guarantee
few months ago scheduled to already start down the
Yeah.
roof, and then pandemic hit, so we don't know.
We'll check on that.
Okay.
That's what Mike Vito
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah.
That's why we gotta get facilities back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Because
we're gonna do that, we'll
Yeah,
set
there's a
up
lot
the
of projects
committees.
going.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And Rich, because I'm thinking of it, it's tough for John to get out of here. Not so bad for John to be like that.
Yeah.
And as we go forward with our meetings, even if we're all together here,
Yeah.
if we want to bring our architect in or anybody else in
Yeah.
via teleconferencing, I think
Yeah.
it might make it easier on them.
Summer anyway.
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
summer.
But Mike said he's more than happy to come out. He was
And
just
for
here
some
to
things,
take
he
care.
brings.
Yeah, but
joy.
let's say that
Yeah.
John always attends once a month. I guess, maybe we'll get a discount.
Well, that's it. It's on the
I
contract.
didn't, you didn't hear that.
Yeah, he's smiling.
JP didn't
It's
sign
not
off on it yet.
We can
We can put that addendum in if you'd like.
I know this isn't on the agenda, and I'm sorry, Terry. One other thing that I want to ask on old business is enrollment, because everyone asks, I know
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gave us a little,
I was actually gonna
but for the public,
hit that with the reopening.
okay,
So,
that's fine, we'll just go right into the reopening. You can-
so luckily, I'm very wealthy now because I think anybody that sees me on the street, the first question I get is, so what are we doing in September?
I know.
Right.
So everybody's been giving me a penny and I have a pretty sizable bank account. So I know you're feeling the same type of questions. Just in terms of, and there's so many rumors going around. So to quell the enrollment piece, at this point, we only have 18 definite changes in coming from the city to here.
Okay.
18.
18
And still at 60 in terms of inquiries. They're really waiting to see what's
Yeah,
going to
well,
happen.
there's a New York City school opening up.
Arrow is opening up on Butter Lane. So I think the Ross School I heard is kind of chock full, and I think
Yeah.
there's other places too.
Yeah.
But we are getting, we're also getting interesting, some Sag Harbor students are asking
We had one
to pay
graduate this
tuition.
year, right?
Yes.
One graduate.
Yeah, so just today I had 2 inquiries from Sag Harbor
To come over.
to come over. So, we're gonna, if we do a contract and if they pay tuition,
Yeah,
we'll
okay.
certainly entertain that. But, Amanda also said, just in terms of, she's our registration official, the 18 students are spread out. There's not really
So we'll have an
a
impact on class
worry.
sizes.
Yeah, so we're,
Probably
Pretty good that
families
way.
too.
But beyond those 18 students, there were 60 additional inquiries?
No,
Or they were included?
minus
Okay.
that. So it's 60 total, but 18 definite out of those 60.
And any child that gets enrolled here needs to be unenrolled wherever else they are, correct?
Correct, yes. And
Right, So so they can't catch your bets in the city and stay enrolled there and then enroll
yes,
here?
yeah, no,
Correct,
no.
okay.
But they can leave.
But we don't have
And
deadlines, right?
then we get our block.
If you prove residency, which we're very strict about,
Right.
and fulfill the requirements for registration, you're entitled, you're
Yeah,
in
sure.
district, you're entitled to be here.
Okay, and just for my own information, we know Sagaponic and Waystock do not have exclusive agreements with us.
Correct,
Whereas Amagansett and Montauk Springs do.
correct,
Every student must come to us. But
yes.
what percent of Amagansett and Sagaponic kids in the past, do we get any or do we?
Yeah, it's
There's a couple families that are.
pretty split. It's, we're actually getting a special needs student from Wayne Scott, who likes our program. So yes,
Do we know,
we're still looking.
do we know from our feeders, like how many high school students will get from, if a family moves to, say, Springs and they've got a
Right.
elementary student and they've got a high school student, do we know how many we're gonna get from there?
From,
Yeah,
in
because
terms
they
of
have
the eight.
Because their enrollment,
Right.
are they
Yeah.
getting?
Oh, I see what you're saying. I don't,
Just curious. If it's
I-
Does that have
not-
an impact on our
I
class
talked-
sizes?
I talked to the superintendent, Amagansett, I think they're in the teens also, in terms of actual enrollment. I'm not sure if that project is gonna be done for the school year. It looks
It looks like it's moving along pretty
quickly.
quick. Yeah.
So I'm not sure.
But that 18 doesn't include those tuitions.
No.
Yeah, no, the housing.
Yeah, of course.
Was there? No, that was another one. That's a different one. The one on Montauk Highway, the old 555.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
moving along pretty quick.
Yeah, I think that's going, you see.
I don't know
us
if
on
it was the school year, but
I
some
think
point in the
so.
school year, I think you might think so.
I think so.
I don't know what their estimated.
So just in terms of, we did send out a parent survey. I think, Adam, I wish we had more.
So we're at about 170 responses right now. Bob is doing a rollover in school too to make sure the addresses again. We'll resend it out again by the end of the week. The hope is to get at least 300 responses. Obviously, that'll add a little more significance to what we're doing. Obviously, it's not a research-based survey, but we want to get an idea because we want to use it in our planning going forward. So that'll
It's
go
actually
out.
very
again.
low, surprisingly low.
So what kind of questions are you asking?
Everything. So what we did is we took a variety of questions from other school districts that they were using, and then we kind of put in some of our own. We're asking about, first of all, feelings on distance learning. We're asking questions on, let's say the fall comes. What are your feelings about your child wearing a mask? Would you send your child to school? If you had choice, what would you send your child to do? what would you have your child do? So we're trying to get a better picture of what our community has and what their willingness to do will be, because they're all going to present different variables as we adapt to planning, which we're,
And just so you know, about 80% of the parents that responded do want live in-person
Definitely.
education.
Hands
So
down.
it's a pretty
Yes.
significant
The
number.
question, I don't know if there's an answer, but has the governor given any sort of benchmarks or indications?
No.
No, I'm talking about like, what numbers is he, how is he basing his decision? Nothing?
So
We don't
here's
know.
the frustrating piece is that in the tri-state area, Connecticut, Massachusetts,
New Jersey.
tri-state, New Jersey have already presented with their schools with comprehensive guidebooks. We're using and looking at not only the CDC, but Harvard put out, their School of Public Health put out an excellent document we're using. And so we're going by nothing right now, but we're going by recommendations from the government and other agencies and their recommendations, because if we sit and wait for New York, we will never be anywhere. So
He's likely to tell us 2 weeks before.
correct.
Oh, he's definitely-
Right.
So
It's not-
He's gonna wait as long as he can.
correct.
But he could say,
Measuring
you
his-
can't open, right?
Yes.
He could
Yes,
say that.
Yes.
Right, but
Yes.
he could say that in August 20.
You better know.
Correct.
But it seems to me that we just need to have plan A, B, and C. I mean, it's a fluid situation. You
Yeah.
don't know what's gonna happen. Like life is changing quickly. So I think that we've all agreed, and we've heard from parents, like everyone ideally we'd like to be in a safe way. And then we need plan B, and we all agree that we need to have our distance learning model needs to be much better than it was before. And we've discussed this extensively. Our distance learning model was not satisfactory. So I guess the question I have for you all is, when will you be prepared? And we discussed this some at the policy committee meeting. When are you going to be prepared to sort of have, option A, B, C? I know you've been meeting as an administrative group talking about it. When will that be able? We've talked a little bit about it, but to be presented to the board.
We're kind of getting pretty close to that. So I just would like to, I'm sending out a letter just so everybody, a memo to parents tomorrow. In the second paragraph, I just want to be very clear about this, and then Jackie will entertain what you were just asking. So the district's reopening task force has been meeting since June. We are hopeful that conditions permitting, we can have a return to face-to-face learning in the fall. That determination, however, will ultimately be made by Governor Cuomo. I think that's very important. Like
People think it's us.
it's not. As we await guidance from the governor, the Department of Health, and the State Education Department, we are planning for a range of possibilities, which Jackie is requesting. Please rest assured that the health and safety of our students is our highest priority. We will keep you posted throughout the summer as plans for the fall become more clear. So the district's reopening task committee, it is comprised of the principals, Bob Hagan, because he's really helpful in terms of we're going to have to present a district plan to SED. Adam's involved, and so is Keith. And what I'm going to request perhaps the president and vice president of the school board join us just for some help with your liaison with the community. I think will be very helpful in terms of kind of like how we're moving. I think,
Rich, I think this needs to be full board.
well, I will disagree at this moment. At this moment, I will disagree. I just wanted this with a task force.
Yeah.
Certainly,
It's a
that's,
committee that.
I'm just talking about perhaps a 2-week period where,
Okay.
and then definitely going to be the full board. No
We're
question
gonna have to
about
have
it.
some public conversations
Yeah.
about this just in
This-
general.
this
And a
is-
lot of it's beyond our control.
Right.
We really don't have a lot.
But Rich, you didn't mention elementary or middle.
Elementary and middle principals are on that committee.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We've been meeting. So I just would like to start, just to kind of start putting this together more formally. And along the lines of what Jackie's thinking, here are the options. Is it going to be a hybrid model? Like we were
Are
thinking,
there 3
Well,
scenarios?
here's a thought. Can by the August 4th board meeting, can we have something to present to the whole board?
for sure.
It doesn't seem like it would be.
I mean, I think
We're outlining the three scenarios that we're working on, like, is it, we have an all online
You
scenario,
have- you
we
have-
have an all in
So
person.
do you got your
We have a hybrid.
in-person with social distancing precautions
Yeah.
in place, which we're prepared. Rich also has had Joe Lapani in these meetings,
Right.
Tony DeFino. So you have that, that's option one.
Okay.
Option two is a hybrid district model, which would require both a combination of in-person instruction and online instruction. Meaning in that model, you're gonna have kids, we're gonna try to reduce our numbers of kids in the school. And here, you know, and I just want to expand on that. Whereas, you know, at the high school, we want to reduce numbers. There are also ways at the elementary school to keep numbers, but you'll be able to contact trace kids because of the way we can keep classes contained. But
Right.
the thing is, we don't know yet. So we don't know yet. So if we have a class of 20 at the elementary school and they only enter through their side doors,
Yeah.
they're contained. So we know if something happens, where it came from.
Yeah.
We don't know if we can run a class of 20 yet. We have not found that guidance. But we, you know, because then you might have to say, oh, we can't do that every other day. Now you have a class of 10. And so
I would think that's pretty likely, no?
I go back and forth. I go back and forth.
I just saw a college just did that in New Hampshire. Just I think announced that they're going to do like I don't know they're not doing odd and even days, but like half the kids will do distance learning this day, like Monday, and Tuesday they go in, and the other half does it. I mean,
My son's school is doing that too.
yeah, I think that's going to be pretty popular college-wise. Us, I don't know.
But the other piece to that, you know, you have to really involve, and we're involving the unions because, you know, how we move forward with this really has to, you know, there might be an MOA involved.
The other question is that nobody really wants to talk about it, but what are we going to do our staffing if we don't go back to school? We have to have that discussion along this group because I think we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do. It's taxpayer money. We can't just pay people and we don't not need them. I don't know if it's a furlough. I don't know what you do, but there's major issues there. In my opinion, I mean, listen, it's not what I want, but when we don't know, I mean, that's a very uneasy and uncertain thing for our employees. Not to know by mid-August, by beginning, to not know now is bad enough. But what are they going to do?
And what about employees who have medical conditions, if we are in person? Like, who is in charge of that? Is that a negotiation with the unions, or is that, the state is gonna tell us what to do? Like, what if you have?
Fraser and Feldman actually just sent the guidance on that very topic today.
Okay.
So we're in consultation.
Because that's
primarily with their
another,
office.
you know, human issue.
That has to take priority.
No question
Right.
about it.
And we have some staff that maybe they are not compromised, but their immediate staff is compromised. How do we deal with that?
Absolutely.
The memo is all delineated. That memo delineates every single.
Did we get that?
Yeah, you probably got it today.
I'll
This
let you know.
afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it went to board.
I'll give you one. I'm a union, I'm a staff member, and I appeal. I don't want to teach and be directly contacting with kids.
Right.
Can they make that demand? I don't think they should be able to.
No, there's no reason
Not
for
unless
it.
there's a medical reason.
I
I would
guess
say.
good documentation, and
And
that's what, those are the nuances, so John, that
And
we
if
have to
that's
work
the
out.
case, so I think they need a leave of absence.
So right now, we actually have two cases where they were voluntarily went to other states that are being quarantined now. So when they come back, they have to quarantine themselves for 14 days.
Yeah. That was Cuomo's rule.
Since it was voluntary, those staff members are going to be charged. They're not going to be paid. They're going to be charged. They're not allowed just to sit home. If there was a case where you were in contact with someone, that's different. That's not like a.
They left the state, they went to Florida, they were there.
That was voluntary. That's the difference. So we're working out all those nuances.
There's a lot
right
to
now.
it.
There's a lot to it, and you know, we're in a place where we're communicating.
I think that we really need to have like I'm not okay waiting till August for this to be for the full board. I'm just not.
Could be sooner.
It has to be. I don't care. I mean, John Heidelberger, you're on the phone. There are a lot of personnel issues involved here. I don't know if we can do if there's certain personnel issues that should be done in executive session. We're talking about union contracts and other things like that. But if there's too many complicated things here, and August is a month from school. I think we have to meet You know, I think we have to meet in the next couple weeks on this.
No, no, I
We're
don't.
not gonna have an answer from the state by then, Jackie. I think
I know, but I think that we need contingency plans. I think there are issues that can be discussed. That, you know, we've just had like 2 hours worth of a board meeting right now. And, you know, I don't know that we can talk about all the minutia right now about the questions that were asked about you. Look, if you have a teacher, we have teachers that have cancer, we have teachers that have family members that are immunocompromised. You know, we're not going to force them to be in classrooms, but we have to have that kind of conversation.
Right.
And then we have to talk about, I mean, there's so many specific personnel issues that have
you may have to have an MOA, but you're not gonna do an MOA unless this is the scenario, frankly.
No,
Because otherwise we have MOAs in place for something that may not happen.
I understand, but I think we have to have that conversation so that we know, like, we can't be like a week before school figuring all of this stuff out. So I think we need to have the
I don't know
conversation.
how much of it's the board's role to do that. That's just my opinion, but that's,
I
anything to say?
I don't think we have a more important role than this.
Have a committee that's
And
working
that's
on
why I'm
it.
asking for the president and vice president for this
Right.
next meeting only, and then we just see.
Yeah.
where
If
we
you
go.
guys are okay with that, I don't care.
And
You know, I think the whole board should, Rich, I really do think I think that there's no more important thing right now. I mean, I literally ran for reelection in order, because of this and other issues. And I want to be involved in the discussion. So I'll clear my schedule. I'll come to the task force meeting. I want to hear it. I don't want to wait till September or till August.
It's up to the board. How does the board feel about it? What do you guys want to do?
I don't object to any board member going to any meeting.
Yeah.
But I want a president, as recommended by them, I want you two guys to be there. But Jackie, you want to go, go. Did you object to that or not?
as long as we don't have a quorum, then we have to start noticing it.
I leave it up to that, you know, they're trying to decide what they're gonna do. The more people you have, and the more.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I don't want a full board at
It
this.
just becomes a balloon. and you
No, I
really
just don't
need
know
to-
what decisions we're gonna be, there's so much that's unknown. I understand contingency. But there's gonna be something that comes up that we never planned for. There's gonna guarantee to be that. And until we get some direction from the state, I'd like to even just know what a benchmark is. What are we trying to achieve? So we can say, hey, are we on track? Or are we not on track? This no comment doesn't really help us a whole lot.
Well, I
You know?
think I'd like tonight, I think parents are just starting to ask the questions and what are we looking at? But I think it's a good opportunity to tell them to get the issues out that we're
Yeah.
looking at, like, busing. We have no
Yeah.
solution yet. We have no guidance yet. What if they tell us that we can only do one student every other row and our buses are down to, 25% capacity of what they are?
Then what do you do?
That's a big issue. So there's a lot of issues like that I think haven't even occurred to people that aren't living this in these rooms. And I think that, I think the community and the parents will understand better, the challenges that we're all going to face this year if we have, at this point, just a discussion of some of the major hurdles. And to me, the transportation is going to be a major hurdle.
I
Food
think
service is going to be a major hurdle.
Taking everybody's temperature every
Taking
day.
everybody's
Yeah,
temperature.
yeah.
if that's the requirement.
Right.
It's gonna-
Maybe it is.
Okay.
Who knows? No one's telling us anything.
We're gonna look at, Rich and I have discussed this briefly. One thing we might do is have less kids per room, right? We might do that.
Right.
In fact, that's,
Probably again.
as far as a bus goes, less kids per bus. But as far as teaching goes, less kids per room. I think we need to find more
That might mean
rooms.
alternating
I
days.
think we need to find more rooms. And
And where do you
rooms
find the
are
teachers?
going. What's
And where
that?
do you find the teachers to go into those rooms, and where do you
That's
find the
the
money to pay
problem.
those teachers?
That's a problem.
We can't, you're gonna have to wind up with a
The,
rotating
the
schedule.
only way to do that on a regular schedule is moving grade levels to different buildings, because the high school capacity is right, we're in a good number, so we're at 900. We can hold up to 1250 here. So you're definitely moving grade levels, and then you're gonna try to spread kids out
Right.
on an every other day bell schedule, an every other day schedule. That's how you would be able to, that's easily served in by
Right.
doing, you're splitting, so
Right.
those who have a class of 28 at the high school, you'd have 14, which is
Right.
clearly easy to socially distance.
Yep.
We've looked at the guidelines of what you can and can't do. The lunches, just so you know, I've already met with Melissa. We could do grab and go. She could do ordering of lunches, so kids would order, so you don't have to sit on the line. If we do decide on a line, if we're able to do it, and I'm speaking for the cafeteria, all cafeterias, lines would be where mask areas. We are gonna, In the high school cafeteria, you can remove every other seat. They can block off every other booth. That room is huge, so you can socially distance. So all these definite things are stuff we've already definitely discussed. I met with Joe Lapani today. We're playing with the BOCES schedule, so we could send 2 large buses to BOCES in the morning, and 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. So there would only be 20 high schoolers on each rather than 40. So then you're able to space. So, you know,
we sound reasonable.
yeah.
But at the same time, we don't have,
We don't know.
we don't know.
We don't
We
know.
just say it's 18, it's 14.
We don't know.
And
Right.
Yeah.
look, every other day means what the heck do parents do when my kid is not in school?
Absolutely.
When we're phase 4 and most people are back to work, or if not 90% of people will be back to work, but we're in July. We're talking about 2 months from now.
Yeah.
2 months from now, I'm hoping we're in a better place. We could be in a worse place. We don't know.
Right, and that's what they're waiting for. They're waiting for
Yeah.
us to go through phase 4 to see if
Yes.
there's an uptick.
Yeah.
Right, and then things
Yeah.
change very.
How long,
When does
Wendy,
phase
how
one-
long is that,
Phase
that,
four
that,
starts
that
tomorrow.
process? I know phase 4 is tomorrow. How long is
Yeah,
that
so-
process?
So they look for like 2 to 3 weeks after everything's open
Right,
to see,
okay.
you know, what's happening to hospitalization rates, you know.
And so
They don't.
what does
And they're
phase 4 include again?
continuing
Is it
to
gyms or no gyms? What is it? Yeah, what's included in phase 4?
It's museums, zoos,
Yeah.
it's very little, really. It's museums, zoos, but the aquarium can open, but
Okay.
it's limited capacity. I was just watching it on the news because I was like, yeah,
Right.
what's left? I mean, if you take gyms and movie theaters and malls out of it, there's not a lot left,
Right.
but it's more for the arts and things like
Yeah,
that can
yeah.
open back up again, which is good news, but it's not a big groundbreaking like event.
But there's
or
only
change the
a
world.
certain percentage capacity, so
Right.
it's not.
Right, right.
But we're looking at now, like our summer camps are going.
Yeah.
right,
Right,
Daycares
right.
are up and running. What are our numbers?
Those are
gonna
the
do?
important.
Yeah.
And the numbers that
Because
we
that
look
will
at
be
today
very
are
telling
less.
for when we
Yeah,
go
see
everybody
how
in school
they-
together,
Yeah,
right?
so doing
Yeah, I
that.
mean, and that's just it. I mean, listen, we've seen a huge population increase since March, and it's progressively just gotten to be more and more. And frankly, and we're going by I'm going by the entire Suffolk County number. It's drastically down.
Yeah.
And if they were going to go back up, I mean, you can only say that March was the beginning. They went up, they peaked, and they've gone we're 2 months down
They're
now.
going down.
People just
Yeah.
have to be smart. They gotta wear their mask.
Yeah.
And
You can't.
You got a lot of
rely on
things
that.
that are fussy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Montauk was a disaster.
Disaster.
But it's been that way for several weeks, and there's been, I mean, knock on wood, we haven't seen that spike, and hopefully we don't. I mean, we could, I mean, all you need is one infected person that wasn't there 3 weeks ago to show up now and get it.
Nobody travels out of state to it, right?
But like the death rate, things like those, the good news things,
Those
people
are
are
all
still
down,
getting sick.
yeah.
They're all way down. They're way down everywhere. We were the epicenter for the death rates, and once we went down, everybody sort of, you know, the numbers went down just because we went down. Out of the 49 other states, they were doing better that way in deaths. But I mean, I would like to know what are we looking at? Because if you're looking at the numbers from the state, and I'm assuming that's what the SED and the governor's office is looking at, they've been consistent. So but he gave numbers kind of like, hey, listen, we go to phase 1, you reevaluate in 2 weeks,
Yep.
and then you go to phase 2, and then well, what is he looking for us? And listen, I wouldn't want to
Well, I
make that
think Wendy's
decision
right, but that's
for
what,
anything.
I think they're looking for
2 to 3 weeks after.
But is he saying that? No one's saying that.
Now, but
That's
look
my-
at Florida, I mean, they opened it, they had an uptick, so now they've closed bars back in the beaches
Yeah.
again, they've re-closed those. So I think that's what he's probably doing, waiting to see that,
Yep.
let's see
So
what
2 to
happens.
3 weeks
But
from
say
now.
what you're looking for. You know, just say like, you know, our infectious disease.
He doesn't
rate
know what
and all that.
No.
Well, but
Be
you
honest
can't. But when you base it on science, you have to know what you're looking for. Because how do you make a decision if you don't know what you're looking for? You know, I mean, I get where you're saying, and I would never want to make that decision. I don't envy him in any way, and I'm not trying to criticize anyone. It's just that it's very tough for a district, and we're a small district, you know, on the eastern end of Long Island. You know, I'm not talking about New York City schools or you know, schools that are a whole lot larger than us, Nassau County, Western Suffolk. I mean, we're a small school,
Right.
but there's a lot that goes into it, and it makes people uneasy. I want to make people feel at least a little more like, hey, listen, this is what's going on. But at the end of the day, they really need to know it's not our decision.
Right.
It's not our decision.
It's not our decision at a policy level. The governor will mandate it, but there are plenty of schools in New York right now, private schools and others, that are starting to issue guidance to schools, to families about what they're doing. So my thought is just that we have different options, that's not.
And we look at what those other schools are issuing too, maybe we can take that as a.
At school too.
Yeah, I gave Rich the private, my son goes to private school, so he
Yeah.
already has.
But we're not a private school.
I understand, but listen, we don't have to make a decision about it. I'm just saying that we need to play out all of the different scenarios. That's what I'm suggesting. Christina raised a good point about buses. So is it gonna take additional money? If, like, we could look at scenarios and say, okay, we're gonna have to have fewer kids on buses. How do we do that? We're gonna have to have fewer kids in the cafeteria. And I know you guys are starting to plan some of this already, and that's great. I'm just saying that I feel that as a school board, it's our responsibility to know about that and be aware of it. We're in charge of budget and policy. So I think we have to be part of that conversation.
And you certainly are, but I think I just want to get it started, you know, with a small group, and then the task.
Okay, I'm saying I want to be part of the small group.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, great. I think we're on the same page, and I agree with the timeline. We have to have something by the end of July.
Yeah, well, in our next meeting, that's the August 1st. We can't tell the public anything until July 4th. I just think we should be ready by then to tell them. I don't think the state's gonna have a decision by then. It's not.
But
Why
we
would
also
they?
need to be prepared with whatever we come up with for our
Right.
3 scenarios, might get blown out of the water
Yeah,
when we
exactly.
have, you know,
Absolutely.
we have
Five,
planned
you didn't think
transportation
about, but
to
then
make
we're
X
doing.
number of students.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll
And it
communicate a
gets
little bit.
Blown out to half of that, and then our decision might be, do we provide transportation?
Well, you're gonna have to do busing decisions because you bus everybody at the very mile.
Right,
fact,
right.
You can change that, and
Right.
you couple that with the fact that a lot of parents, no matter what, are just gonna drive.
Yeah.
So that's
It's gonna
especially
be
is gonna
all
have more huge dynamic there for her drop off.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
The line already,
Yeah.
I mean, oh my gosh,
The drop off.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
Bigger line.
So,
Tough year.
I just had I guess it's to be considered new business. Just a quick question. What at the district outside is now open?
Tennis courts and playground. That's going in the letter tomorrow.
Okay. Now, why are our tennis courts open?
Because that's one of the.
Tennis is okay. I'll do it.
But it's okay for singles, not for doubles. Who's
Right.
monitoring doubles? I'm just asking
Joe, I
because,
thought Adam had
you know, I mean, I don't know that, you know, because there's been some, I had a parent ask me because there's a baseball tournament and stuff and they canceled it or something. Listen, here's the thing, what guidelines are we operating that on? I saw people this weekend, the tennis courts were pretty packed and I was just surprised that they were open, frankly. I mean, I don't know that if we can't monitor them, that they should be open,
Is
my opinion,
is
but
double still not legal?
not okay.
Only single.
They said single.
Not okay. I mean, are we blocking off every other court? What are we doing? Because I think that's a rule too.
And the problem is, I certainly can't have a student out there monitoring.
No, but I'm saying, do we close them because we can't monitor them? I mean, listen, we don't want to be the breeding ground either, and we don't want to not follow the rules that we're supposed to.
Do we have a
follow.
security guy?
He's monitoring the track and also summer school. But he could walk back there, but
Yeah, well,
He's gonna monitor
there's
doubles.
no problem with the track though, is there?
there's no way. That's a full-time person.
Oh, Rich, by the way, is the track available even though the
No.
field isn't?
No.
So
Well,
he does,
under construction, but he's in summer school from 7:30 to 1.
I think it's also a weekend issue. I don't want to
It's a
pay
weekend
somebody to
issue.
be here that's already not here.
February.
Yeah, it would make more sense to just lock it.
I don't know how you can have them
I
open,
don't think it's a big problem for us.
to have them open.
Yes. I would rather not, I'd rather leave them open and let people make their own decisions.
Then
We
we
did
should
that on the
everything.
beaches. We
But
did that on the beaches.
But should we
We
open
gotta socially
everything at that
distance.
point?
We're
I mean,
opening the playground.
people are doing it. People
What
are
about-
being cautious.
Right. Well, I don't know. I came by on Sunday. It was packed.
Okay.
It was packed. It was packed. And I'm just saying, listen, we can't pick and choose what we're gonna open and close.
Yeah.
I don't think we should. Personally.
I'd rather unlock them.
They've been locked until when?
About a week ago.
About a week ago? They were, I thought they were still closed.
And there was a town open. I coordinated with
No, and I'm not, this is no criticism. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
no.
what do we do? Should they be, I mean, if we don't have somebody monitoring to make sure they're not doing it,
You're right.
what are we doing? I don't know. Anybody else
We're
have
not
any-
monitoring, we're not monitoring our fields.
Correct, but it's a little bit different on that, because we have you're not allowed to have an organized anything anyway.
we've been kicking, right.
Everybody's not allowed to use the field.
There was-
Nobody's allowed to use the field.
Because the baseball team was gonna practice, and they canceled everything. They're not going to.
Well, we have no permission to do any sports or any.
But by the way,
And baseball
No,
is
no, no,
okay.
it's school sports.
by the way, we're allowed to run our junior program with 25 kids, you know that? We are running our, starting Saturday,
Yeah, they're done.
we are running our junior program, and we're allowed to have on the beach no more than 25, and we're doing it.
Listen, I get it, but you guys are monitoring. No one's monitoring.
I know.
You know, and I listen, you guys are organized, you're keeping them apart. There's no one, it's a
Yeah,
free
you're
for all. It's a
providing
free for all.
PPE and all that.
We have anyone that could monitor it and
No,
have
that's a
specific
full-time
hours?
job.
It's full-time, and it's
7 days a
expense to us. Why would we? why
7
would we
days a
make
week
expense?
from
I don't know, I'm
sunshine
not
to
a-
I
sun
think
stuff.
Hampton school, theirs are all locked up. No one
please-
on, yeah, no one on. school.
I mean, listen, I understand, but, and listen, in full disclosure, you guys know I have an issue with the way it is on a daily basis, but now that we have this responsibility, I don't see how you can do it.
But then if you close the tennis courts, you'll be closing the playground too.
What playground would the,
John Marshall.
John Marshall? Well, how do you even close that?
They had, I think, big fence.
I mean, listen, I'm not so sure it's a great idea to have that open. There's no one there,
Well, they don't, no one's there, the Y is there during the day,
and they
so,
monitor it.
and monitor
do.
it.
But the weekends, maybe that's what
The
the
weekends, and I don't,
Listen, I'm not trying to close things, but I'm also, we need to be responsible, and we can't pick and choose. That's the other thing. We just can't. I don't know, I would say close them, but I know John disagrees. Anybody else want to weigh in?
I'm gonna cross my fingers and say leave them open.
well, if they were packed this weekend, people will be,
Yeah, but it was July 4th.
Yeah.
well, they
We got
didn't
a
leave.
lot of calls about the tennis courts.
Oh,
Beforehand, right before they were open. Yeah, why they wanted them open. They wanted them open.
Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of people want, I mean, listen, we got close with the track too. And it's
Yeah.
closed.
Yeah.
It's closed. Someone ran
Still
on that.
jump, they still jump.
Frankly, they ran in the
Well, that's the
newspaper.
other thing. I mean,
And so they ran on opening the track.
we have it closed and no one listens anyway. They do what
They
they want.
jump over.
I know, I've seen that too.
We had one complaint that people were not obeying social distancing or playing lots of doubles, that then you just, okay, we're done. It's
Yeah,
done.
we can do it that way.
You know, I would wait and watch, you know what I mean, and see how it's treated. Well, how are we gonna let them know though, if we see that people are playing doubles, which is not allowed according to the state
And we have to
guidelines
block
right
off every
now?
other court anyway, right? You're
No,
supposed
they
to
can
do
use
that.
each court. 'Cause
You can
it's
put a
supposed to
sign
be-
out.
Can we put a sign
Yeah,
out?
put a sign
But you're not
And
supposed to, I don't
we
believe.
will be,
You can use
Well,
each
no
court,
doubles.
because the court is big.
But I don't know.
No,
if
it's
it's
just
one
monitored
person
that down
inside.
to shore. I mean,
Yeah,
that's
I thought that.
We'll be riding down here.
Close every other court.
Yeah, I used to do a drive-by like 5 times a day.
Yeah, listen, hey, you guys, it's a group decision. I say no. But
Well,
I
I
respect
could go
your.
either way,
I
I'm out there
respect your
strongly either way.
decision stuff.
I
How about we
agree,
start with the
I
sign?
agree with Wendy
Start
about
with
that.
signage and see where we go. I mean,
Yeah.
about if there's no doubles,
Yeah.
social
He's
distancing
got-
Yeah.
is,
Oh,
you know, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
We have, at the
Signage
very
first.
least, we have to do that, the very, very least.
Yeah, monitor and see if it's being abused and not following.
So we
guidelines.
don't have weekends for
But we do have, we
Violators,
do,
fine.
so I'll make sure he's there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not gonna get him on the,
Maybe just
Right.
have him log in.
We
How many
can,
times are people playing doubles? Don't
Yeah.
bother.
we
with
can get a
seeing what's
report
going
back to Rich, see if it
Yeah.
gets less this weekend.
Right.
I mean, we had a
concerned with
beautiful
what's gonna
weekend,
happen
maybe it'll
with
rain.
traffic-
I'm here on Saturday, on Sunday, so I'll monitor.
Thank you.
I'll come in, so
Thanks, Steve.
I'll check.
Do we have signs going up while everything is closed? Because last time people climbed over and
They
ignored
do
the
the same
sign.
thing, they avoid them.
Well, we also have cameras. So, you know, if we have
Well, some of
cameras
you just like-
and there's damage to the field, I want to prosecute those people. Honestly.
I mean, our signs mean nothing.
But now we have a lot of cameras. So we can identify whoever does jump the fence, and if damage
That
is
is
done
true.
to the turf field,
We need
I
under
think it needs to be clear to the public that
surveillance signs, too.
we should be
This
prosecuting
field
those
is under
people.
surveillance.
Yeah,
This field is under
yeah,
surveillance.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's
definitely.
get that done.
Because that is a lot of money. We're spending what, close to 600,000?
Yes. And remember
So,
last time,
right, and last time
That
that
was horrible.
people did climb over, and thank God we had no damage, but we could have, and, you
no,
know.
the first time there was this.
Yeah, there was damage.
No, but I'm talking about last year,
Oh,
when we
I
redid
got
the
Oh, yes,
track part,
Yes,
and they
yes.
said, make sure no one goes on it for a week
And they
because
did.
it needs to set.
They
And
did.
people climbed over the fence, past
Yeah.
all of our signs, and thankfully we didn't have any damage, but we could have.
You can come up here pretty much any night.
Well, that's
There's someone
happening
on
now.
the track.
And it's
Do we
not
have
young,
fire
not young kids there
No,
either.
it's adults. It's all
People
adults.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't expect to be up there.
Do we have higher fencing that can be put around? Like, can we do, is there
Yeah, can we
anything?
do like,
Good, but
Yeah.
again, it's all a cost and that we don't have money for it, you know?
And you really.
well, but what is the cost of the new turf field?
Right. I mean, if we have it. I mean,
Well,
what do we
listen.
have back in there?
I would,
Facility.
listen, for now, it would be closed. If that's what the recommendation
It's
from the
closed.
state
It
is
is.
that it's closed,
Yeah.
then it should be closed and it should be secured. You know, the beaches, everybody talks about, there's no door to lock at the beach. It's
Yeah,
closed already.
right.
You know, the beach is closed, well, you can still go down there. You can't close the door and lock it behind you and say, all right, no one can get in now. You know, here, we have the same thing. And listen, somebody will go run the parkour, you can't stop them, but they're running and they're not hurting you. You know,
Right, right.
they're ways away from anyone. And for the most part, the track is probably pretty similar. People walk together, but then they go walk to the beach together and
Yeah.
together. Whatever. That's not my point, but
But the week the turf goes down, and we have signs up there.
That should be-
That
Yeah,
is
we need,
like
we
concern.
need something, we
Yeah.
need something
She
more.
asked about construction fencing.
yeah.
We need something more.
Maybe
Like,
that's
two layers of
temporary.
it.
Yeah.
They finally passed it last time.
Right.
I
Because
mean, as I was
fire
walking in
and
early,
go right.
and if somebody kept, as I was
It's
walking in the
worth the
district office, someone's looking at me, they were gonna go jump the fence.
Yeah.
They kept looking at me, and they couldn't run back there and jump the fence, because they see you coming, you know, they're like, I don't know if that person
Yeah.
works in the district or what do they do, you know, and listen, it just, these are adults. They're
Yeah,
adults.
oh yeah, well, they're
Oh,
adults.
yeah, they live in their own bubble, you know,
They've done
you're
it.
fine for other people. It's not
We actually had the police come, and Kerry, you remember
Oh, yeah,
that
that was
incident?
fun.
And we had called the town police, and 2 kids were nasty.
Yeah,
I mean,
they
they
were
were
so
nasty.
desensitized to
Oh.
authority.
2 weeks ago. Town
Really?
police, yeah.
Amazing.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it was after a long day, and I was like, are you kidding me? And you finally back down at the end. Like,
Oh, yeah.
oh,
I mean, but that's what we're dealing with, and I don't know.
No, we gotta do more to protect that field.
Yeah,
okay.
until,
Well,
during
well,
the construction
keep-
phase.
keep
I don't care if it looks ugly.
Right,
But I don't either.
Yeah, no, it has to be safe. That's the other thing. Somebody gets hurt on it,
Yeah.
whatever, it's a
So
problem.
that's
So,
why we always walk out.
exactly, exactly.
Let's definitely have some options.
Yeah, I'm sure they have
Yeah,
something temporary. They
yeah,
have to be,
yeah.
They gotta have
idea.
something.
It's a good idea.
they have to have
So
something.
you should have construction
Can we have
fencing.
land
Yeah,
put
suppose,
something
Yeah,
up now?
that's one thing.
Well, they did last time, and they
Oh,
went
oh.
Yeah, well, it's
over
fine.
the fencing, under the fencing, over the fencing,
There's gotta be
Yeah, they have to
something.
put it up, they have to put it through the track. too.
Yeah.
That's-
I mean, and, you know, I feel
They
bad.
ignored all the
nasty
signs.
phone calls, but, you know, email the board, whatever, I'll respond.
We electrify it?
Now you got it. All right, anybody else?
Rich, you
Anybody
wanna
else
be
they
the
wanna
right
throw in the pot here after I?
Equity,
Wait,
racial,
yes.
So new bit, Rich, I brought up Rich, I just want to let, I know, because the community would probably ask. So for the fall, we're putting together a committee, a steering committee on racial equality and equity.
Mhm.
So that'll be with members. Right now, I'm just working from a working draft of 2 board members, 2 members of district administrations, both union, 3 unions, students, Spanish-speaking community liaison. Not too big, trying to keep it between 12 and 15 members.
What
to
are like the
really-
anti-bias task force was started?
We need to start attending it because the former high school principal didn't do his due diligence and attend those meetings, maybe went to 1 or 2. So we have to definitely do that.
Yeah, we should have somebody there.
Yeah, I think it's something just, you know, and I don't want to take anybody's time here with it, but we're looking to do it in the fall because what's happened and what's a really easy reaction to this, especially being a white administrator,
Mhm.
is let's throw a few new classes at the high school to teach this. Let's throw a little program when we're not even really asking the real questions. And
Right,
that's what
they
we
were
need.
doing something, right?
Yeah, okay, it looks, yes, you know, in this regard, it's different than the mental health piece.
Right.
This is a very, very different issue.
Mhm.
And we have a very diverse population.
Yes, I
So,
do.
it would be definitely something to start those discussions and what we can do. Because it might just be having, facilitating discussions in classes at all levels. It might not be adding, Costa Rican studies or, Black history. That's just throwing things and hoping it sticks. And that's me.
Right, it needs to be
I think we need to
deeper,
have real discussions and do it. And again, I think it needs to start in the fall. I think right now we have a lot of other things too that are just as crazy, all this important stuff. But, Who knows, we might not even. I think it's something.
It's a great idea.
I think I'm totally
It's a great
supportive of
idea.
that.
Yes, I love it.
I just asked a couple of
Yeah.
staff members.
Yes,
today.
and I asked James, again, we need, it's easy for Rich and I, again, to be chairs of these committees and run it, but I think Rich and I don't have the same experience as,
Right.
as James.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
as Tarcita, I think
Yeah.
that
But it'd be
provides.
also a great way for him to learn and to know our community. Like
Yeah.
them to
That's
know
it,
him,
yeah.
and to know them.
Them
It's
to
a great
learn.
outreach to everyone, really.
Exactly.
What about some, like, I don't know, I don't have the answers either, but what about like a speaker? Like, I know you've had great success
Yeah.
with some of the speakers for different things. Maybe that's something that we should do too.
They might, might come from the
Well, I think
committee.
the committee, I think the forming the committee will be a good start.
Just to
I do too.
start the discussion and listen to people, I think that's what.
That's-
I think
Just
we-
take their ideas.
Yeah.
What do you want? What do you think is
Yeah,
best?
and then I think that committee could report to the anti-bias task force.
Yeah.
So there's a coordination between what's happening at the school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On the town
And the bigger
level
town.
and what's
So I
going on.
think it's a great idea.
No, because we have some representation from Montauk and some
Right,
representation
right.
from
Yeah.
Waynes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And some from, Waynes, I mean, wherever.
And I think, Adam, that is one of your strengths, and when Maria was here, you and Maria, your strengths in dealing with the issues on a deeper level instead of the Band-Aid.
Well, taking
The
head on is
mental
a good
health,
thing.
Yeah.
and things like that, like you and this district have dug deep, and I think that's what we need to do. The
Yeah.
same kind of effort that we put into the mental health,
Yes,
that's what needs to go into this.
yes, definitely.
You can't be
And
slapping a new program in and.
Well, yeah, making kids take a
Saying-
mandated class that no one
Right.
pays attention to,
Right.
doesn't make any sense, it's a waste of time.
No.
No,
It's a band.
Nope.
Waste of time.
Right.
no, it's about education and learning.
Right.
Being uncomfortable, and having uncomfortable
And having,
conversations.
Right.
uncomfortable
Yeah.
conversations and
Right.
listening,
Right.
Learning something.
listening to each other.
Right, it's not watching a video or adding a few more books that are by African-American writers,
Right.
or, that's all helpful, but it's not alone gonna solve
Yeah.
the
Well,
problem.
And I think we discussed that one student who really is questioning whether she should even come back to school. So that type of
Yeah.
committee could be dealing with those kinds of issues
Yeah.
too.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
just explore sensitivities that
Right.
might need to be developed. So,
And
And
one,
empathy, it's more about empathy and like the deeper,
right,
one form or another,
Issues.
have some input from that student, whether it's direct or indirect. Maybe involve the kids somehow
Yeah.
that
but
way
we
too.
do.
Put a couple kids on
Yes,
committees that are.
yes.
Or
Majority, yeah.
Not, but I mean, that really have had some experience with it. It's like, I want to, that are willing.
It's all
Right.
personally.
Yeah.
to-
not your valedictorian or your salutatorian,
No,
your
no,
height,
no.
like you need the kids that are
Yeah.
living it.
Maybe that you don't see every day or
Right.
know that you don't even.
Right.
What they go
You know,
into.
maybe like a
Yeah.
Ralph or somebody like that could say, hey, talk to a couple of kids and say, listen, would you be willing to
Yeah.
Yeah.
be a part of this and speak? I mean, you have to get the willing participants as well, but.
Well, similar to what Jimmy Stewart does with Sources of Strength.
Yeah.
He gets a diverse group of kids that are at all ends of every spectrum. And for some of those kids, it's really life changing. So,
Absolutely.
sort of all of that
Well,
model.
that's the idea behind it. So good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for your
Definitely.
support there.
Great.
Anything else before we make a motion to close? Have a motion to close? Ready? John?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know.
At least we don't have to worry about the task force tonight.
Yeah, no.